As told last week, Embiid is a stiff. And by the way, allowing the New York fans to roll in to your barn is not an indictment on Philadelphia sports fans. It's an indictment on that bullshit owner, Josh Harris. The Philadelphia sports fans have quit on you because you don't put a good product out on the floor. Take a look at the Phillies and the Eagles and their fan base. Every barn they go into, they own. They own those barns. If you go down to Tampa, Eagle fans everywhere. If you go to LA, Eagle fans everywhere. 76ers allowed the Knicks fans to roll into their city and own that building is an indictment on the bullshit process that he made you sit through for all those years. What a bullshit organization. Oh, and by the way, for that stiff Joel Embiid. So let me go here. Let me take it. I want to double check here. We put this out here. So ESPN put this out. I know we lost, but for me, this was a success. Although the Sixers got swept, Joel Embiid is grateful to finish the season with good health. And he brings his kid out there in the post-mortem of getting swept. How cowardly can you be, guy? That's success? So wait a minute. How many people in here said this? Hey, I'm glad the quarterback, Jalen Hurts, didn't get hurt in the final game against the 49ers. So this was a success. Our quarterback didn't get hurt, but this was a success. I'll tell you what, man. And by the way, bringing your kid out when you get fucking swept and answering all the negative comments is not going to deflect you here. Guy, bring your kid out after getting swept and playing like horse shit in that series. Guy, do me a favor, man. That's the modern day athlete of today. I mean, you talk about a player that you can't do anything with. What an absolute stiff. You bring your kid out there in a post-press conference when you get the shit kicked out of you to say that so the media is not going to be mean to you. Boy, have we gone soft. That shit doesn't matter to me. Dude, you need to answer those questions by yourself when you're the face of the franchise. Face of the franchise. And you get your face kicked in. You can't keep the Knicks fans out of your building for a reason. One, because you quit on them and you don't believe in the Sixers. I don't blame you. It's a bullshit thing. Then you watch the face of your team look like a loser, and he is a loser. Joel Embiid is soft, and he's a loser. And he was on display for you. You know, talk about Ben Simmons. This guy, I mean, he's a modern version of, he's a better version of Greg Oden. What a stiff. All on him. Dude, he makes, when you make the most money and you're the face of the franchise, you take all the hugs and the slaps. Don't cry about it when shit's not going good. How pathetic. Guys, do me a favor. Hit the like button. Appreciate you coming aboard. Just a pathetic showing. Penn, thank you, bro. Well said regarding the Sixers organizations. I'm sick to my stomach, and Embiid's contract is untradeable. $57 million in 27, 62 in 28, 67 million in 29. He's a loser, dude. When you say and see champion, does Joel Embiid's face Does that pop up into your face? Joel Embiid as a winner? Guy's is stiff. A very talented guy. I mean, and by the way, all those radio stations in Philadelphia that was apologizing after that game 7. I mean, bro, when they knocked the Celtics out, that's how that guy acts. He sees a great moment, seizes it, and then quits the rest of the way. Talk about a loser mentality. You can't get any stupider than that. And by the way, I'm not even going to read some of the dumbass people who support that fucking loser. That's on you, guy. Anybody who supports that guy is an indictment on you. Big Sills. Reports say Hurts locked in with Mannion. Let's leave this up here for a second. Anthony, I'm not mad at you. Okay? I'm not mad at you. Not at all. But I'm going to tell you a little bit here about that Jeremy Fowler saying that to SportsCenter. Don't buy it. And here's why. So wait a minute here. Let me get this right. Jeremy Fowler was given a story. And here's what I just posted. This is a Bob Lang special, my friends. Fowler gets that story last month that Jalen Hurts is in a crossroads in his career. But now, in helmets and shorts, these guys are plugged in. This is how pathetic the media plays the fan base. Can you be any dumber? Not you, Anthony. I'm not saying you're dumb. But Anthony, this is a payback for the insight that Jeremy Fowler got for that story that he ran. And I told you one of these stories was coming, that it would be a fluff piece. And here it is. As advertised, I told you there'd be a fluff piece by Fowler coming out. And here is the fluff piece. This is a payback. This is how it works. He wrote that story a month ago that he was at a crossroads. And all of a sudden now, in helmets and shorts, with no installations on anything, Jeremy Fowler, by the way, let me ask you this here. So wait, let me go back here. And let me read this. Okay. Jeremy Fowler, hold on here. This is how pathetic. So here's the headline. April 1st. And it's now May 11th. Eagles friction as Jalen Hurts at a crossroads. I'm not going to read you the whole article. He went into the proposed play. And as you read further in, it says this, that Jalen Hurts, 2026 season, he is now at a crossroads in his career in Philadelphia. And now these guys are kumbaya. Sean Mannion and Jalen Hurts. What happened in that month since that article came out? What happened? What happened in that month that changed Jalen Hurts' crossroads? Okay? What? Again, this was an expose. And by the way, helmets and shorts, versus Eagle insiders. What changed? Here's this story that Fowler and also Tim McManus was involved with. Read down here what it says. Hurts not willing to change. The failed play accelerates the crossroad that awaits Hurts and the Eagles. In the third paragraph, the failed play accentuates the crossroads that awaits Hurts and the Eagles coaching staff in 26. And now all of a sudden, you hear something from Jeremy Fowler. This is a Bob Lang special. And you bought it. Because this is what they want you to do. Jeremy Fowler's story was talking about his career. This update that he had on SportsCenter was a moment of a day, 3 or 4 days together with Mannion. This is without a doubt a setup. And this is a payback that Fowler's giving Bob Lang. You surely see that, don't you? I bet you don't. Could first report just be Petulo crying wolf? No, because it says multiple Eagle sources. And again, here's the headline. Inside Eagles 2025 friction as Jalen Hurts stands at a crossroads. Tim McManus and Jeremy Fowler. So I ask you, what has changed in 3 weeks? You're damn right. It's a dog and pony show for all the Jalenites to unite. And you bought it, as usual. As usual, you bought it. Oh, not all of you. Sills, thanks for exposing the foul of Fowler. Yeah, Pietras, for him to be able to write that story, he's got to write a fluff piece next. And I told you it was coming. And here it is. I told you a fluff piece was coming. Jalen has to get with the program, and Jalen seems to be buying in. We won't know until we see it on the field. Correct. Now, Hurts in building, then, this is a walk back 100. I'm sorry? Walk back 100 on what? I'm not sure what you're talking about. Now Hurts. Oh, yes. Yes, David. Now he's in the building. Now they want a good story out. Yes, David. Okay? Let that guy keep posting. He helps the algorithm. Never go to him ever again, but just let him keep posting. They've been trashing Hurts for years and never wrote a fluff piece any other time. Dog, this is a makeup piece. Okay? You don't understand how media works. Negative, positive, negative, positive, negative, positive. Nothing's changed. So wait a minute. Let's do this. So you think when there's no live football that Jalen Hurts is buying in to a guy who's never called a play in May? Wait a minute. Do you think Jalen Hurts believes 100% in Sean Mannion in May and he's never called a play? Let me hear you say Yes. That he's bought into this new offense in May without seeing it on the field and watching the guy call plays for the first time. How in God's name can a guy who's had 6 to 7 different coordinators buy into anybody, especially a guy who's never called a play? How in God's name is that possible? How is that possible? And why would he? And get this, okay? Based on what? Playing the game doesn't mean you're a good coordinator. Or there'd be more of them. The top coordinators in the game never played. That's not a good take. The top coordinators in the game never played NFL football. I don't remember Kyle Shanahan playing, Sean McVay, Andy Reid. I don't remember them fuckers playing. I don't remember Matt LaFleur playing. I don't remember that. Because they played the fucking game. The top coordinators in the National Football League didn't play the game. And again, we're talking about the offensive coordinator, asshole. Kyle Shanahan played competitive football as a wide receiver in college. Dude, these guys are talking about playing in the NFL. What does college football have anything to do with playing in the NFL, coordinating in the NFL? I'm not going down that lane and wasting my voice on dumb assholes. Sills, the NFL, the best at staying in the news cycle. Adam Schefter, a bone week 1, Sunday Night Football, Dallas and the Giants. Absolutely. Sills is going to make up so many excuses this year for any type of success from the offense. Oh, no. Oh, no way. Okay. Sirianni played wide receiver in the NFL? When was that? When the fuck was that? Sean Payton was a scab. He was a fucking scab. 1987 strike. He was a scab. Jalen likes his coach, Sills. Calls us dumb. No. I asked you a question. What changed in 3 weeks? What changed? What changed? Yeah. And how did they do last year at coordinator? He fired them, and they finished in last place in their division. How'd that work out? How'd that work out? How'd that work out? Hey, douchebag, we're talking about Sean Mannion. And Frank's not considered one of the top coordinators. Sean Mannion. And you're trying to tell me because he played the game. All right. By the way, let's go here. Jeremy Fowler. All of a sudden, by the way, guys, do me a favor. Hit the like button. Appreciate some of you. We'll be going to some people today because I'm not wasting my time on this shit any longer. So what I'll be doing is we're going to go back and forth there. We got some stuff coming up here. Gary Cobb will join us at 4:30. Our boy Big Z will join us at 3:30. All right. Let's go here. You're right. There is no excuses this coming season. On May 11th, here's what, and again, so you know, and I know this as well as anybody, okay? We'll see how these defenses move forward. That's going to be on your schedule. Like the schedule's released on Thursday, okay? You're not playing against a bunch of top flight defenses. So if you don't get this fucking offense going this week and this year, you got no one to blame but the quarterback. Okay? Here's why. Cardinals, 27th ranked defense. Cowboys, 30th. Giants, 28th. Commanders, 32nd. Rams, 17th. Colts, 23. 49ers, 20th. Titans, 21st. Bengals, 29th. Steelers, 26th. Panthers, 16th. You do have the Texans and the Seahawks and the Jags. You play 3 teams with decent defensive personnel. 3 teams. 3 teams. If that offense doesn't perform this year, it will never. No excuses. Let's take a look at something. And let's see something here. Okay? On what the Eagle offense. Okay? Let's take a look at this. I want you to see this here. The Philadelphia Eagle offense, based on a year ago, with the same personnel you're bringing back, except for Lemon and Stowers. Oh, and you're losing AJ. Okay? Let's take a look at the Eagles and what you did as a football team last year. 2025 Eagles schedule. Okay. So the Cowboys a year ago were 30th. The Chiefs a year ago were 10th. Circle. The Rams were 17th. The Bucks a year ago were 19th. Broncos, I believe, were 2. The Giants were 28th. The Vikings We're third. The Packers were 12th. The Lions were 18th. We're getting to the point here. Cowboys, Bears, 29th. How in God's name did the Bears beat you with the 29th ranked defense? Let me double check that. But the Bears really 20? Yeah, the Bears had the 29th ranked defense and ran you off the field. How's that possible? Let's see here. The Chargers. Were 5th. The Raiders. I don't think we need to go any further. You clearly played against better defenses last year. You played the 5th, the 3rd. You played the 10th. You played a bunch of good defenses. You could make the argument a year ago to win 11 ball games was pretty good. You got no excuses this year. You're not playing against very good defenses except for 3. You better be in the top 10. Sills, if Hurts going to be a West Coast offense, he needs to execute these 5 pass plays. Slant, stick, curl, flank, drive, bootleg, and drag route. He can't do 4 of the 5 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He can't do 5 of those. Sills, I think the Cowboys open up the season with the Giants and the Eagles. We'll open up with the Commanders. What do you think of Wembanyama's ejection last night for the elbow? It's mandatory. Anytime an elbow's thrown, you have to call that. So it was warranted last night. But I was shocked that T-Wolves ended up coming back. Dude, you're not playing anybody with any significance this year when it comes to defenses, except, like I said, you got the Texans, you got the Seahawks, and you got the Jags. The rest of them are dog shit defenses. If you can't move the sticks versus these dudes, you need to call it a career. He can't do those plays, Kyle. That's what Sills has been saying for years. He can't. Hurts had no choice but to buy in. And now Delusionites are excited because he bought in. Hilarious. Yeah, he bought in a 3-day practice, according to Jeremy Fowler, who wrote an expose on him. I think the 49ers are going to be legit because of IR and all the people that they lost a year ago. I do. And I think that 20th ranking was actually very well done by Robert Saleh. I think Robert Saleh did a really good job a year ago. I do. Thought he did a great job. Okay? Hurts cannot run 5 of those 7 things. And the only thing the Eagles have lived off of has been the slant pass. He can't throw screens. He can't throw intermediate passes. He can only throw to the numbers because that's all he's ever done. You know what? Many of you guys all say this to me all the time. How come you always say he can't throw for $4,000 and 30 touchdowns in a year? Because he doesn't have the game for it. Dude, deep passes don't make you throw for 50,000 or 5,000 yards. Short passes make you throw for $4,000. It's the short game. It's their intermediate passing game. It's screen games. It's checkdowns. All of that is why, like I said, plus he struggles reading. Absolutely. All the things, and now he's buying in. Jeremy Fowler on a two-day conversation when they're not even on the field yet. He's buying in. Hey, Kyle, have the Eagles even been on the field yet with the new coordinator? Or is this just classroom work? Has Hurts been on the field yet with the new coach? Or is this just like on the chalkboard? They haven't been on the field yet. So wait a minute. They bought in based on what? A phone conversation? Hey, so James, look at the Jalenites taking that Jeremy Fowler. It's worked. It's worked for a percentage of the fan base. It's worked. On a phone call, they're now saying they bought in when they're not allowed to be on the field yet in helmets and shorts. But based on the chalkboard, he's bought in. Or on a text exchange, he's bought in. How many coordinators has Jalen had since he's been in Philly? Let's see. Sirianni. He was the first play caller. Shane. Brian Johnson. Kellen Moore. KP. And now Mannion. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's had 6 coordinators. But in a text exchange, he's bought in. Is that right? 6 coordinators. He's not been on the field yet. And he's bought in. You could also count Doug Peterson. Yeah. That's 7 coordinators in his 7 years. And he's bought in on a text exchange. Hey, James. 6 coordinators. But he's bought in on a text exchange. Hey, Coach. Those are great plays. Coach. Hey, yeah. Coach. Sure. Yeah, Coach. Thanks for showing up. I'll see you soon, Coach. We'll be on the field soon. Yeah, Coach. Thank you. So let me ask you this. Did Jalen Hurts buy in last year? Did Jalen Hurts not buy in? So if we're going to go and we're going to go down your premise, okay? Jalen didn't buy in last year then, right? Okay. So Jalen didn't buy in last year. Okay. Jalen Hurts didn't buy into the coaches a year ago. Is that right? Pietas. He didn't buy in. Didn't buy in. But now he's bought in. A guy who's not been in the building and never been a play caller in his entire life and doesn't really even know Jalen Hurts. But he's bought in now. Is that right? Do you have any Do you have any intel that maybe I don't know? They haven't even really met yet. All of it is on the chalkboard. How? Sills, my problem with the rookie coordinators under Sirianni is that if he can't figure out, Nick can't help, so it's automatic failure. Bingo. Bingo. This is all just to determine to how much of a terrorist Kevin Petullo was. Really? Now you're saying, dude, are you suggesting you act like AJ shit meant nothing last year? A guy giving up on route. You're taking that one 49er game, in your opinion, that one 49er game, in indicting him for the entire passing game now? And that was on AJ Brown? So wait a minute now. RC, are you blaming the passing game on now AJ Brown? Wait, RC. Jalen Hurts had 2 fumbles on one fucking play in that game. Are you blaming the passing game now on Jalen Hurts? Okay. Is that what you're doing? The clip from the Niner game went viral. There were earlier games he gave up. So wait a minute. RC. Okay. So wait a minute. Like I said, 5 years of incompetent passing. Bottom 10 passing as a unit. Those are facts. You're blaming the receiver now. Dan on the AJ bandwagon after. I never told you he was a shitty player, doofus. I told you he gave a shit about his statistics and about his money. You never wanted to believe it. You thought he was some sort of dude that didn't care about that. Well, he does. And you never fucking listened to me. I never told you he wasn't some fucking great player. He was a great player. I told you he was one of the top 5 receivers in the game. But as a guy who wanted his own stats and his own legacy, you listen to 5% of what I say. That's why you don't get it. This was set up to get rid of Hurts and Sirianni. They don't like the way it will look if either one of both of them are fired. I don't know, man. I'll tell you what, Kim, that was a manufactured story put out by Jeremy Fowler to make Bob Lang feel better about giving him the information on that earlier story a month ago. All of a sudden now in text messages, Kim, everything is fine. And some Jalenites buy into it. Okay? Get this. So here, the article is phony, but a text message going back and forth, they're on the same page. You can't be any dumber if you buy that. I will take Prescott with his skill set over Hurts' skill set every day. I can improve the defense around Dak. I can't improve Hurts' limited passing skill set, which is very true. DFW. Here's what they need to do for Dak Prescott. You got to get a better running game. You got to pull a John Elway on him. You got to take the ball out of his hands. Okay? You got to take the ball out of his hands. Okay? Not the last 3 years he hasn't. If Diana Rossini has taught us nothing, is to question all reports we see about covering the Eagles. Yes. I question all of this. Of course. But see, what you get is you get people that see a story that'll fit a narrative and they'll follow it. Sills, is it just me or did Hurts run Sirianni's playbook for over 5 years? If that's the case, he didn't have to learn a new playbook every year, just a new play caller. That's what happened. That's what John McMullen says. Absolutely. He just had to learn a new play caller. Wasn't a new playbook. They're creating a new playbook. I mentioned this on my TV show this past weekend. Nowhere in NFL history has a Super Bowl MVP ever been asked to play like Brock Purdy. Like ever. Hey, Matthew Stafford, I want you to play like Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson. Nowhere in God's name has that ever been asked of a player. Like ever has that been asked. Like nobody goes to Matthew Stafford and says, you know what they did do? Like to John Elway? They asked John Elway to throw less because we're going to run more. And that's how they won a Super Bowl. 2 of them, actually. Okay? That's, again, and you got Stafford's 41 years old. And they're going to do this one more time. I mean, is there anybody, coach or player on the Eagles that you're actually buying into? Vic Fangio. Jeff, how do you not buy into Vic? Vic's results are on the field. Don't you think that's pretty easy? I mean, how would you not buy Vic? Is there any coach? Listen. Well, let me ask you this question then, Jeff. If you had to buy into a coach, besides Vic, how about Clint Hurt? You buying into Clint Hurt? You buying into Bobby King, linebacker coach? Linebackers have looked pretty sensational. Clint Hurt has helped the defensive tackles. How do you not buy into those guys? Look at the results. You don't buy into them, Jeff? Hey, Jeff, think about it, buddy. I buy into those guys. You know why? I see success. Here's the complex thing, though, Jeff. Even with that shitty offense, I see success. And they don't like it. It's like almost like the Eagles don't like their own way that they're winning. Hey, Jeff, would you buy that? The Eagles don't like the way they win. Would you say that's fair? That they don't like the way they win. Right? check this out. Seahawks take a step back for sure. So the Eagles don't take a step back with a new coordinator, right? No. Ugh. We got no choice but to buy into Mannion. Yes. Hey, nothing's changed, is my point. Nothing's changed. It's like buying a car you never heard of, sight unseen. And we're about to go on a 5-month road trip. What are you, the Griswolds? Dude, so you buy a car that you've never seen before? I don't believe in all my cars I've ever bought. When I bought my Lotus, when I bought my Maserati, when I bought my Porsche 911, my Corvette, my Acura, my Hummer, my Mercedes, my BMW. I don't remember ever buying a car sight unseen. I mean, this guy's like the Griswolds. Well, I'm just going to buy a car. We're going to go on a trip. Hey, did you get the luxury sedan van? No, I got the super van. And the tires don't match. I had a Maserati Quadruport. Eagles have the same injured O-line, lesser receivers, tight end one who's older and less money, and a brand new offensive coordinator. Sure, they'll excel. Our offensive line beat up from style we were playing. So now you think that you're going to change that offensive line style and they're just going to fit into a new style, right? Saquon Barkley's going to be Chris. Hey, by the way, JoJo, do you believe that Barkley's now going to play like Christian McCaffrey? You guys think he's going to play like McCaffrey? Sills, with a new coordinator and scheme, should Hurts play more preseason games if he's buying in? They're not going to play him in the preseason. Are you kidding? No way. New style, new everything. They're not going to play. Andy Reid plays preseason. A lot of coaches. Sean Payton plays preseason. Yeah, they should, but they won't. And by the way, if they're so successful on injuries by not playing in the preseason, that didn't play out last year, did it? Leasing is just renting a car at extremely high interest. Might as well give money away. I agree on the leasing thing. Play a $50 million quarterback that can't read a defense. Purdy usually plays a half. Yes. Barkley will look like himself again only when we have a respectable, feared enough passer to force plays and teams to play honest defense. I have no idea how Barkley will look with more stretch runs and screens. The last time he did it was with Eli in his rookie year. And that was like 8 years ago. The Eagles will have to toe a hard line this year if the offense can't get going. There will come a point where they'll have to make a decision. Stay with Hurts or try and save the season. Here's something else to think about. When this schedule comes out on Thursday, you better hope it's early team friendly. Because if you're playing like Seattle, if you play Seattle and the Texans, early in the season, that thing's going to look ugly. Like here. This is what you don't want to see early in the year. Is if you got to play the Seahawks, the Rams, and the Texans in the first month and a half. That's not what you want to see. Because they will shut you down. Shit, the 49ers. Get this. You're going into the season with the same personnel minus AJ and adding Mekhi Lemon. That's it. You're basically going in lesser this year than you were a year ago, hoping you're healthier. And hoping does. Hey, so let me ask you something else. I heard the guys talking about this, and so everyone pretty much played pretty bad on offense last year. Who was to blame for everyone playing bad? Kevin Patullo was responsible for the shitty O-line? September's Liars Month. I agree with you, Sills. I would clearly, for me, I'd want to get those teams out of the way early. I would not want to play the Texans and the Seahawks earlier in the year. With a new coordinator, new scheme, new play calling, new passing coordinator. I don't know, man. That's a lot. The Eagles could sweep that lineup, and he'll say it was only because they played him in September. September's Liars Month. It was Liars Month for the Bucs, and it was Liars Month for you. I've had that statement since I've come on your network, and I've had that ever since I've covered the NFL. September is Liars Month. Sills, I appreciate your unapologetic candid assessment of Hurts and not caring what his fanboys think. I could care less. It's about time that someone sees him for what he really is. Salute to you. By the way, Swab, he's a good player. He's a good football player. He's not elite. He doesn't have special skill sets. He's not a generational player. He's a good football player. Joe Flacco's not a generational player. He was a good football player. Super Bowl MVP. Won a lot of football games. A good player. Jim Plunkett was a really good player. Not elite. Not special. Heisman Trophy winner. First pick overall. 2-time Super Bowl champion. MVP in the game. He was a good player. You could be a very good football player. You could be a really good player. That doesn't make you elite. Yes, Jim Plunkett was a Super Bowl MVP. Actually, won 2 of them. Sills is just keeping it real. No need to sugarcoat it. He's a winner, but he isn't evolving, and the league has figured him out to a degree. Yeah, well, here, DFW. Zander will tell you this as well as anybody. When I first got here, I said, this was not going to be for like 10, 15 years. Okay? This was going to be like 9 years, 8 years, something in there. Because these guys don't have high ceilings. Dual threat guys like that aren't very good in the passing game just don't have high ceilings. It's okay. Dude, 2 Super Bowl appearances in Jalen Hurts' career. If it were to end after this year, it was a grand slam. If he's not the quarterback after this year, it was a complete grand slam. Second round pick, amount of winning. Absolutely. Seals Cowboys versus Giants Sunday night football. Slap in the face of the Eagle fans. Looks like the NFL doesn't care about the Eagles. That's the opening week. Seahawks, I wonder who they're going to play on Thursday night. It'll be a 4:00 game, though. You can bet your ass on that. The Eagles, who they get. I'll bet you anything. I'll tell you what. I mean, let me see something here. Did you see that cornerback Dante Wright flipped from Georgia to Miami? I did. That's Mario. I talked to him this past weekend. He's very excited about that. Who do you think is going to be the opening game for the Philadelphia Eagles? And I wonder if it'll be at home or on the road. Boy, Rams and Eagles in the opener would be incredible. How about 49ers and Eagles Sunday afternoon at Levi? Nope. I'm going to tell you. Bears and Eagles, Soldier Field. Battle of Pittsburgh. Got to get Aaron Rodgers early. That would be at home, though. I wonder if they're going to put the Eagles. Hey, I forget. Let me see here. By the way, I could check that right now. They opened up at home. They're going to put them on the road. I'll bet you they put the Eagles on the road for the opener. Would they put them against the Cowboys? Again, on the road. Jacksonville, on the road. I'm going to either, here's the games. It's either Cowboys, Jags, Niners, or Bears. And they're going to put them on the road. I bet you they put the Eagles on the road. Yeah, but they're going to want ratings. Cardinals and Titans. There's nothing to that. Now, Seattle, that game, they're playing Seattle at home this year. Yeah, they got Seattle at home. So they wouldn't do that. 49ers, Bears. I doubt they'll start them in Jacksonville. Boy, I like Chicago. And if I had to pick, what do you think? If I had to pick, I'm going Bears and the Eagles at Soldier Field Sunday afternoon. Man. I got Bears. No, I'll take that back. Hang on. One last one. Eagles at 49ers at Levi in the opener. Yep, I'm going Philadelphia versus the 49ers. On the road in San Francisco. They just held the Super Bowl there. And they're going to put the Eagles on the road. He's not smashing limitations. He's covering them up with Dollar General Band-Aids. Everything plucked from each other so they can all keep up with each other. Can't be the 49. That's right. Way to go, RC. That's right. The Niners play overseas already. That's already been released. Great call. Great call, dude. You're right. Niners are playing in Australia. Hey, RC, the Niners are playing in Australia, right? It's the Bears. They're going to play the Bears. The Eagles and Bears in Chicago. Eagles, Bears. That's what it's going to be. Eagles, Bears. Yep. Oh, man. That will be a great opener. Yeah, wishful thinking. How about the Rams versus the Niners playing Friday morning, 10:30 a.m.? What AFC division are we playing this year? We are playing You're playing the Colts division. You're playing the South. You're playing the Colts. Tennessee, Colts, Jags. Yeah. You're playing the South. They're going to try to give the Eagles a meatball to start. Colts aren't drawing attention, so maybe. Let's see. Do they play at Lambeau? No, they don't play Green Bay this year. They don't have the Packers on here. I think it's the Bears. And if they do play home, Rams and Eagles would be freaking insane to open the season with. Eagles and Rams, it'd be the game of the weekend. That would be a Fox game, too. Fox is probably praying for Rams and Eagles in the opener. So let me ask you something. Do you think that matters in 26 with 18 new players? The Eagles don't have that many players like normal teams do. Normal teams have run 16, 18 players on the 70-man roster or the 57-man roster. Means nothing. I'm with you, Sills. Ratings. Whoever gets Eagles first game of the year will be about ratings. Yeah, they're not looking to put they're not looking to put the Eagles with I'll tell you what, Eagles Texans in the opener wouldn't be a horrible game. Whew, man, Eagles Texans, a young football team. Okay? A new offense versus that established Texans defense in week 1. Hey, that score might be 10-9. Or it might be 3-2. It might look like an old rugby game. Texans and Eagles. Two defenses so good. And the offense is, right? With Reed Blankenship rolling in. Let's see. See, I never got this last year. As long as we don't get shit canned with no extended home game stands. That took a toll on them last season. I happen to agree. I've never seen a defending champion not have multiple games at home. Like, 2 games at home. I mean, that, and don't tell me the fucking computer did that. That would be great. You would find out quick if the Eagles show any type of rhythm with the new. I'll tell you what, I love that. You give me the Texans in the opener, and we're going to find out, because if you could put up 27 points against that Texans defense, you're going to win the Super Bowl if you don't get hurt. The Texans defense was better than the Eagles defense the year previous that won the Super Bowl. They give up less yards. That thing was stupid good, man. A great, great defense. Serious question, Sills. Between Sean Mannion and Christian Parker, with their current, who do you think will be more successful in their new role? Well, Jalen's got better players. Jalen's in a better system. The Cowboys, how about this, Evil? The Cowboys have a producing issue. They've done a lot. They look like they've made advancements. I think you're better since the Micah Parsons trade. You're better. You're just better. But all that being said, you've got to pay it off. To answer your question, I think Parker has more question marks. Mannion, here. Mannion can always do this. Let's just run the ball and let our defense play. And we'll win games with decision-making and our talent. That's how the Eagles have won. They haven't made plays pivoting. Get this. Here's something to think about. The Eagles pivoted to running the ball, which is their forte. When they tried to pivot to passing, they can't. If the Eagles have to pivot to passing, that's not going to happen. They have one direction pivot. They're not balanced. In the Jalen Hurts era, they have not been a balanced passing team. And that's what is frustrating to management. And that's why they've made all of these facelift changes. See, here, this is not an awful take. 11 wins if we just run the ball. And here's the problem. See what he just said? 11 wins if we just run the ball. And you know why you didn't do more? And you know why you weren't better? Because you were 31st on third down. You were almost last in the league on third down. You were 31st in the amount of third downs. So, and that's why you didn't go anywhere. You won 11 games, and the reason you didn't go anywhere else is because you couldn't do anything on third down. And by the way, think about this. If you aren't running the ball and you're third and long, and you were barely winning when you had AJ too, now you take that component away. You think running the ball is going to be more difficult this year? Or, hey, if AJ's not on the field, that's because the quarterback ran. Hey, Kyle, what did the quarterback have that year in rushing? 754 yards? I mean, Jalen Hurts missed like 3 games. He was on pace for 1,000 yards. And you took that out of the dynamic. That's why you were balanced. You were balanced because the quarterback was a runner. Jesus, I haven't even really hit on the topics here, except for one. Yeah, that Jeremy Fowler story, stupid. I mean, nothing's changed. They haven't even been on the field yet. It's only classroom stuff. And they're buying in? You're buying in. To what? Text messages? Hey, I really like your offense. Hey, I really think it's great. Hey, I can't wait to be under center. Hey, Moji, thank you. Hey, way to go, dude. I'm really looking forward to it. I hear you. Thanks a lot. I'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye. I'm buying in. Send that to Fowler. Hey, it looks like Jalen's going to go under center. How'd you get the information? Bob Lang sent me a chain of text messages between Sean Mannion and himself, and they were going, hey, I really like, that you played the game. Hey, Hurts, I can't wait. Hey, Sean, you know McVay very well? Yeah, he's my boy. What else? Hey, we're going to do a lot more under center. I've really been kind of against under center. Yeah, but you're going to love what we're going to do. Wow. Okay. Thank you, Sean. Wait a second. Hey, one thing though. Are we going to throw across the middle of the field? I'm a little nervous about that. Yeah, but you like my play designs. We're going to move you around a little bit. Hey, I'm buying in. Send that to Fowler, Bob. Thank you. By the way, CC Nicole in on this so she doesn't break my stones. Sills is the sex typing. Ladies, watch out. Hang on. Yeah, no. Bundle it up. Yeah. If Fowler would have said Hurts doesn't like the new offense, everybody would have ate that up and not said the same thing. Why would they put two shitty stories out in a row? They wouldn't do that. Hey, man, you bought a text messaging story, but you didn't buy the expose they wrote. Oh my God. Zander opened his show with that today, too. The Jeremy Fowler hit on Sports Center, I think it was. Hey, man, those guys. Yeah, Jalen. Yeah. Hey, we're going to do more in the center. Really? I'm being kind of against that. Hang on for a second. Don't worry. We're going to get this baby going. Really? Yeah, that's the last 7 coordinator said. Don't you worry, buddy. I got your back. I'll see you in a month. Okay. Yeah. Wait, hey, what is he buying in on? A seance? Wait, what is it? Like sitting around a hookah? Hey, Jalen. You're really going to like this offense, dude. Why would I like it, Sean? Excuse me. You're going to be more under center. Yeah, but I don't really like being under center. I got benched at Alabama for that, being under center, looking like a real quarterback. Yeah, wait, hold on. Hang on for a second. So what are these guys doing? Sitting out by a hookah in a seance? Shit, Sue, it might as well have been. Hey, you're damn right. That offense better have some good shit tucked in that bowl. Yeah, this is the Sean Mannion Bowl. Hold on here. Yeah, I'm buying into it now. Send that off to Jeremy Fowler. Fucking kidding me. Not sure if you saw Caleb Downs was studying the Saban defense while he was playing his senior year in high school. Saban said he had command of it the first day. Caleb Downs is a great-looking talent, my friend. I think he's going to have a great impact on that football team. Better hold on to McKee. Sills took a puff once or twice. Well, for me to buy in, Gary, probably twice. Yeah, I got to buy in. According to M. Reyes, these guys were buying in over text messaging because they've not been on the field yet, but they're buying in. Hey, what are you sending, notes? Well, how else are you how else are you communicating? Like the veterans are working out, right? All right. I mean, how would he know? I can't wait. I'm curious. How in God's name do you know he's buying in? Based on what? Like based on what? I want to know. I do a lot of shows. I may have missed something. Just a gut feeling. I got a gut feeling, Sills, that this son of a bitch is, you bet, baby. How about the Bob Lang special? There for you all on a Monday. How many days out? Wait a minute here. Let me see something here. Here, I got this here. How many days until July 24th? 74 days. He had 74 days to install this new offense. And I'm bought in. And I haven't even met the guy really, except on a handshake. And I'm not going to have AJ. I bought in. Sills, do you trust in Fangio? Yes. If we get a veteran safety in his final year as coordinator to give us a top 10 defense in 26, all depends on the O, dude. Hill, how many people agree? If you go back to that Chip Kelly offense, what was the one damaging thing that Chip Kelly did to the Eagle organization when he was the head coach? You guys remember? What was the most damaging thing he did? All them fucking 3 and outs. Guy wanted to run like 1,000 plays, right? And he started getting 3 and outs. And before you know it, your defense was in like the MASH tent. And they're in the blue tent. All your defensive guys started getting banged up. All those 3 and outs, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. That takes a toll on your defense. Let me put it to you this way. You tell me if you agree. If the Philadelphia Eagles were 15th in 3 and outs, they would have had the number 1 ranked defense in the NFL. Am I wrong? They would have had the top ranked defense. Top 3. Right? I mean, can you imagine if the Cleveland Browns, how about this? If the Cleveland Browns had traded for Kirk Cousins this year and had a average offense, the Browns would win 11 games this year. Why? They had the 4th ranked defense in pro football. A team that won 5 games. All they need is some competency at the quarterback position. And they'll win 11 games. They were fourth. Fourth. That's almost impossible. A 5-win team is fourth in total defense is insane. That's how good they were on defense. They were fourth. Get this. I mean, fourth. Joe Flacco was in Cincinnati. Wrong. Sills, laugh now, cry later. We were going to spread it around, open up running lanes, and be a top-tier offense this year. Defense will be improved. We just need a solid veteran safety. Watch out for us this year. I don't have any problems about your defense. Your offense was going to stink still. Hope I'm wrong. Like what's been said about Mannion. Just think he might become the next casualty if they don't get off to a great start. He will be. That's why quarterback for Cleveland is the Monken pick. Okay. You know what? We got to do something here. Hold on. Okay. Okay. Flacco played 4 fucking games last year, douchebag. Google it. It's free. Sills, we were terrible on first down and second down. The guy Patullo said he called run plays just to run it sometimes. And why did and Nick Sirianni thought that was a smart way to call run plays and then fire Jeff Stoutland? That doesn't even make sense. They were so predictable last year. Run, incomplete punt. Yeah, they were. You get so mad when you're wrong. Flacco was in Cleveland for 4 games. What do you mean I was wrong? He was there 4 games. Fangio kept you afloat in 24. After all those turnovers by Hurts and Kellen, changed to a run-heavy scheme. Yes. Based on the fact that he outplayed Jalen with our starters, even with 0 first-team reps in practice because he can read. You're talking Tanner. Dude, if you're going on Tanner McKee on May 11th, I'm not even going there. Boy, if we start talking Tanner talk starts in November. Jalen Hurts deserves every bit of time. Every bit of time to see if he can do this. And even I'm saying that. He deserves every bit of time to see if this can happen. Every bit. Okay? I'm not there. Tanner McKee. Dude, I'm not even sure the guy could play in the league as a starter yet. So, again, if that happens, they would have fired Nick Sirianni. No. Here's what will happen. If that happens and they bench Hurts this year, that's a great topic. So let's talk Reyes here. Hey Reyes, you think Jalen Hurts gets benched this year? You think during the game they bench him? I don't know for like what they'll do, like how they did Carson Wentz, like bench him for the rest of the year. But if he gets out and it plays poorly, do you think they bench him? Yeah, because of all the changes. It is a great topic. Hurts hits the bench when we are. Listen, wrong guy to ask. How many people believe this year? Wait, he won't answer the question. Yes or no? Do you think Jalen Hurts gets benched this year? Let's put him on record. May 11th. Screams will grow louder. Because he can't answer that. Okay. When Rasputin. Yes. Intern, no matter how it looks, you don't think they'll get to a point that they'll bench him. Okay? Maniac. You think they bench him? Yep, he'll be benched by midseason. You think you think they bench him? I'm asking you. That's called sports talk. Have an opinion. Now there, see this? I'm out to sea with New Jersey Fishing Maniac. And he goes like this. We got to get up to Cape Cod. It's foggy. We're in the middle of Long Island Sound. And I look over at Fishing Maniac and I go like this to him. Hey, dude, I think we got to go like along the coastline here. I go like, northwest a little bit, and go up the coastline. And NJ Maniac goes like this. Nah, I think we should go northeast. And then before you know it, I'm in Greenland. I think so. I mean, if I have a guy out to sea and he's my navigator or my quarterback, and I hear the phrases, I think so. I mean, I don't know. So if I'm out there and it gets a little foggy and Maniac is my captain, hey, where are we going? Well, I think we're going here. Jesus Christ. I don't know. I think we should head east. Yeah. Head east. I'm going to go east. All right. Yeah, go east. Hopefully I land on something. Like Columbus. I thought it was in the New World. No, you were in Puerto Rico. There you go. Hey, J Maniac. Hey, I thought I was landing in Chesapeake Bay. No. You're in Jones Beach. Oh, all right. I know how to get home. Hey, dude, I'm going to take an Uber. Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Did you hear that show this morning, Bird 365? Holy shit. Big Z opens up. Did you get that, Jeremy Fowler? I was like, oh, my God. This is so gold. So Jeremy Fowler writes a story almost exactly a month ago that it comes out. Hurts is at a crossroads. Here's the headline. Inside the Eagles, 2025 friction as Jalen Hurts stands at a crossroads. And here's the new one. Jeremy Fowler, our latest at ESPN, Hurts stands at a crossroads despite his immense success. And here's the new Jeremy Fowler one. Hey, over text messaging and eating corn dodgers, there is no doubt. Guess what? Jalen Hurts, you got it. These guys are on the same page. How you doing? Like this. Here, look. Hey, Sean. Yeah. The new offense looks good. Thanks. I want you more under center. Send. Good. Because it'll help. Send. Here's another one. Yeah. We're going to have more quick passes. Send. Then we're going to have another one. Hey, are we going to have high tempo? Yeah. Send. Hey, I'll see you in a month. I can't wait. How you doing? Oh, boy. Bob Lang, man. That guy's a professional terrorist. That's what he is. I'll tell you that. Without further ado. Oh, look what Big Z's got me doing. Look at what I've done to the honey. It's not good. But we're good. And I'm feeling great. Without further ado. Yes, so. Yes, sir. The show that gives you optimism. And the show that bleeds togetherness. At Birds 365. And here he is. The man from that show, our man, Big Z. Xander Krause joins us now. How you doing?
What's up, Big Sills? How you doing, brother?
How was your weekend, boss?
It was fantastic. Great weekend, great Mother's Day. I got to hang out with the legendary Uncle Frank, who I've referenced here on the show before. Uncle Frank built his Cobra already, so he was talking to me about that a little bit. But a good weekend, man. I hope all the mothers out there had a great Mother's Day.
First and foremost, before we get started here, what's your takeaway on that stiff Embiid?
Yeah, I mean, look, he's a talented player, but the guy can't stay on the floor. He's a little bit of a crybaby drama queen. And ultimately, the juice wasn't worth the squeeze. And, bigger picture-wise, which this isn't Joel Embiid's fault, but the process was an abject effing disaster and failure, and should never again be considered as a way to build a franchise or a team in really any sport. So hope Philly learned something. I learned something from it. I remember telling my pops back in the day, they got Ben Simmons, they got Joel, they got Markelle Fultz. We're going to win a ring. And he told me, Zander, why did the Boston Celtics turn over from Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen, and Rajon Rondo and get back to the playoffs within 2 years with Danny Ainge and Brad Stevens at the time? And the Philadelphia 76ers had been losing for 5 years straight. I said, well, and now old man was right. That's what I'm realizing. So, they're bums. I was kind of out on it. But I was hoping they could do something in this series. But at the end of the day, that New York team's good, dude.
Yeah.
And that Jalen Brunson kid, that dude deserves – that dude's a ball player.
He was a second rounder.
I know. Villanova, dude. I watched him play in college.
Yep.
I think I was he wasn't on that team that won the national.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Was he?
Yeah. Yep.
Was Villanova?
He won a national title there.
Who was on that? Yeah, you're right. Brunson was on that roster. So funny story. I was out. I think that was that my senior year of high school? I think that was my senior year of high school. We were out for the game, and when they hit that buzzer, I'm not even a Villanova fan, but I was in the area. And when they hit that buzzer beater, when Chris Jenkins hit that buzzer beater, we all went to Villanova and partied till like 2 a.m. on the strip or whatever the strip is there by Villanova. So he's a hell of a player, though, Jalen Brunson.
Dude, if I were the Sixers, I would do one thing. I would make sure that I push every single thing if I was Josh Harris to go get Sam Presti, the general manager of the Oklahoma City Thunder, and I would bring his ass into my organization because that guy took lessons from R.J. Buford in San Antonio, and he built that team to look like what the Spurs were back in the day with Duncan.
Yeah.
And I would bring that guy's ass and blow out that incompetent Daryl Morey.
Yeah, I agree. And that dude's a great GM. Remember how many picks they got, though? There was a couple of years there where they were just stockpiling picks. They had so many picks.
But they got Wemby.
Yeah, they've built an insanely good roster, no doubt.
Remember they got those.
I like looking at this old Villanova team. Ryan Archie Diacono, I remember that at a Langhorn.
Yeah.
Phil Booth, I remember all these dudes, man. That's hilarious.
So, the Jeremy Fowler story, boss. You know this is a Bob Lang special, right?
Ooh, Jalen Hurts and Sean Filet Mignon, Sills. They are like butter and bread, my friend.
So are they like sexting with each other? Is that what
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, Jay, I don't know where you come up with that, but it sounds like
they can't do anything on the field yet.
It sounds like they know what they're doing. Sounds like they're ready to rumble. Well, no, they were in the building last week.
I know, but they haven't been on the field. I'm just saying they have not been on the field together. So they're on a chalkboard and they're in the classroom working it out, going, I like how this is working here.
Listen, you're right about the education on the way the media works, and there's no doubt that was evident with this story. But listen, I do think that it at the very least, Sills, is it a sign that maybe they understand the moment in terms of you don't have the type of leash anymore. And that's not to say on any individual, maybe collectively, as a team, Jalen as a player, the coaches as a staff. It's like, all right, if we fall flat again offensively, it's not just going to be a firing of an offensive coordinator this time around.
So you think there's a sense of urgency?
Right. And I don't know that that's been evident, but I'm saying that could be a takeaway from the story. So,
I would take that.
I hope they have that, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that would be, but I do agree. It was probably, a little bit of a crock of BS, but overall it is what it is. And I'm excited to see the offense because what's going to look like, how they're going to play, what's Jalen going to be asked to do. I think what I said last week is on the money. Give him some shorter, intermediate throws. Get those receivers the ball. Stop making Jalen Hurts do everything. Give him the quick, simple reads. You don't need to turn him into something he's not. But get him some quick reads. Get him some easy wins. Get him in rhythm. Nothing worse than when they come out in the first quarter and they don't complete a pass. It's like, dude, get the damn player in rhythm. I think we can all appreciate being in rhythm. When you're on a hot streak, what do you say? Heat check. And you gotta take the shot. You gotta take the big shot. So get him in rhythm. I think they can do more of that this year, and he'll be a better player. So, but I think it's everybody. If the offensive line plays good, those Sills, let's be real. Team's gonna be all right.
No, okay.
So if the offensive line plays great, you think they're gonna stink?
They're not going to be anywhere near 24, but they're not going to be anywhere near 25 either. So they're going to be somewhere in the middle.
How's that for a fence ride, everybody?
No, I just think they're – well, dude, when you get older, the only thing that happens is, look, you don't get better, you die. As you get older, dude, you don't get healthier, you die. Everyone's like, I love how Eagle fans are going, hey, this year will be different. Yeah, are they older? Yeah. The only thing that happens when you get older is you die. That's it. You don't get.
You're talking like they're 34, dude. I don't hear you saying this about the San Francisco 49ers or the shitty Commanders, who I told you would stink last year.
Boy, you love hanging on that.
Yeah.
Hang on.
Yeah, I do.
Where I said you were one and done, and only
you are what you are. Wait, listen. It's a what have you done for me lately world, my friend.
All the ones
that was a shit prediction.
That was fucking totally exactly correct.
A toddler could have seen
that
the Commanders were going to stink.
Well, let me hang on another one. Keely Bingo.
You're in love with Jaden Daniels.
Keely Bingo. Yes, I am. He's a
and that clouded your vision, my friend.
What clouded my vision? There's not a person on the planet that doesn't think that guy's not good.
And it's not. It's a team game. What is this?
So what are you
Pro Bowl games where they're throwing targets out there?
What are you talking about? I told you Jaden Daniels was a good player. That's all I said.
I said this. A toddler could have seen that team was going to stink last year.
Okay.
And you didn't buy it because you were
a toddler could have seen that you were going to be a one-and-done team a year ago.
Maybe you're right. The team stunk all year.
Especially
and they could barely win.
After Liars Month, where you were 500.
I don't disagree with you there.
All right. I got one for you here.
All right, here we go.
All right. My bet is this: Eagles versus Bears in the opener.
Ooh, I like that actually. I would.
First,
I think the Bears are coming.
Do you think they put the Eagles on the road?
I don't know. I mean, I don't think so. But John brought up a good point. The last 2 years were kind of a home game. But remember, one was Brazil, and it was like a home game. I mean, that's not a home game. Like, they should just call in that neutral site. Like, there shouldn't be a home game there. You should, but whatever. So maybe it'll be away this time around. But I don't know. It'll change because we got the home opener with JAKIB Nation. So I'm waiting to see because I want to see, are we week 1 at home? Are we week 2 at home? You know, but I think they'll probably start on the road would be my guess if I had to make a pick.
How about Rams and Eagles at home opener?
I don't think
they're going to look for big ratings in that opening week.
That's true, but don't you also by default get big ratings in week 1?
Yes.
Because everybody's you know what I mean? Like that to me feels like a November or December banger game. You know?
So maybe you want the Ram game like after week 8.
I'm not saying when. I would love them week 1 because I think that's before they found their stride, their rhythm, and their identity. You know, so I think Rams week 1 would be beneficial for the Eagles, but I'm saying from an NFL perspective, I think they're going to push that to later in the year. So I don't think it'll be Rams, but boy, that would be a hell of a game to start the season, wouldn't it? Oh, man.
How about this? They open with Seattle's got to have the opener, okay? That's right, because Seattle's got to have they won't open that. How about week 2?
You see the opening Sunday night game?
Cowboys and Giants?
Yep.
How about week 2? Seahawks and Eagles.
That'd be good. Yeah, but you know what, dude? I selfishly, and this is pure selfishly, and you've broken me in a little bit on this, I really don't want to have the good teams in the first 4 weeks because I won't learn anything.
Oh, yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to learn how this team fares. Right? Last year, how many times did we hear, me included, say, well, they beat the Rams in week 2. They are a good team. You know, they can beat good teams.
KC.
Well, that was a crock of shit. Like Sileo said, you were 500 after the first 4 weeks, and you got bounced by a depleted Niner team in round 1 at home. So, you know, you don't learn much. I selfishly, like I said, would like to see them play some of that stiffer competition later in the year, but we'll see. You know, it all comes down to ratings and stuff like that. So we'll see what they end up doing. But decent schedule this year. So some decent contenders on there. Yeah, players, some teams.
But I wrote this down, and I want here. So again, listen, it's May 11th. There's been some additions, some subtractions off of some of these rosters. So it's not set in stone, but I'm just going to look at what some of these defenses did a year ago. And with some of the games that you're playing this year, you're playing the 27th ranked defense with the Cardinals, the 30th ranked defense with the Cowboys, 11th with the Jags, 28th with the Giants, and you lose Dexter. Commanders are 32nd. They were the worst defense in pro football. The Rams were 17th. The Seahawks were 6th. The Texans were 1. Colts were 23rd. Now, the 49ers are going to be better just by the addition of Warner and getting Nick Bosa back. The Titans are 21st. The Bears were 29th. I can't believe they were that bad. The Steelers were 26th, and the Panthers were 16th. Zander, there's no excuses. There's not a hell beater on that schedule defensively except for 3. Seahawks, Texans.
That was last year, though. I mean, you know.
Seahawks, Texans. Yeah, well, you see the Colts getting better?
Well, I don't know who gets better, but let me just say this. I watched the Eagles be one of the very worst defenses in all of pro football in 2023 and not get better, but legitimately flip the script on its head and become the number 1 best defense in the National Football League and march their way to a Super Bowl with a dominant, historic performance against Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. I'm not saying that's going to be everybody. I'm just saying it's hard for me to look at that last year and say, well, we're going to play a bunch of stiff defenses.
But you were number 1 in running the ball. Running the ball helps your D.
Well,
Here,
it does, but you
if
also
you were 15th a year ago,
wait.
wait a second. If you were 15th and 3-and-outs a year ago, you'd have the number 1 ranked fucking defense in the NFL. Do you not agree?
I do agree, but are you telling me that the 24 defense you think was more hell-bent or more aided by the run game than they were by their own talent?
Bro, I don't know about you, but how about the field position that defense put that offense in, and that offense took care of it, and they were number 1 in third down that
I agree,
year.
but the defense still handled their business.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
the offense was number 1 or number 2, I think it was, in third down that year.
Yeah, they were. They were super good in
because they had a historic run game. I mean, dude, I think you have a shot this year with this defense. I don't think you're very look, 24 was deep and good. This looks like it could be good and not deep. So, I mean, let's look at the quarterbacks. I want to see this. You tell me the quarterbacks you're playing against this year. So you got Dak. Wait, no, excuse me. Yeah, you got Dak. You got Prescott this year. I don't even know who's in. Brissett in Arizona. You've got Trevor Lawrence. You've got Jackson Dart. You've got Jaden Daniels. You've got Stafford. You've got Darnold. You've got Stroud. You've got Purdy. You've got Ward. You've got Caleb Williams. You've got Aaron Rodgers, whatever that is. And you've got Bryce Young. That's not a bad list of quarterbacks. That's a pretty good list of quarterbacks this year. And as division and playoff teams, how many playoff teams? Jags? Rams?
Jags you would have to put as a playoff team right now. I think
a year ago.
The Bears, I don't know if they will be, but they're playoff caliber, I think you could say. Niners, I think, are a playoff team.
Yep.
Cowboys are right on the brink. I think they could be a playoff team. Depends how the NFC goes, obviously. Giants, no. Jaguars, I think, will be. Cardinals, no. Commanders, no, in my opinion. Panthers, no, in my opinion.
I think the Panthers are going to win the South.
Do you? I think the Saints are going to.
Okay. I think the Panthers have done a lot.
Well, they have. They have.
And I'm liking Bryce Young a little more than CJ Stroud now.
Well, I've said this many times before, and people looked at me crazy last time I said it. If Bryce Young was 6'5", which he's not, he'd be one of the better quarterbacks in the National Football League.
Xander, if he was 25 pounds heavier, he'd be
better. I know. But, hey,
Who
listen,
can
like
play?
I say, if my mom had balls, she'd be my dad. If my aunt had balls, she'd be my uncle, or whatever the saying is. So, you can't play that game. But I think Bryce Young is great. He's just real small, so he's pretty limited.
A.J. Brown, according to Dan Shaughnessy, that deal is done.
With who?
With the Patriots and the Eagles, unless somebody parachutes in.
Well, they are acting like that, aren't they? I mean,
Yes.
like A.J. Brown, he's not in any of the social stuff. He wasn't at anything. He didn't go to Devontae's camp. He didn't go to the Philly Eagles facility. I mean, look, we all know it's happening, but I'm just pointing out that it's definitely going to happen. It's just a matter of time. So probably June 1st or June 2nd, Sills, it'll break. My prediction on Birds this morning was June 2nd will be the date. That's a Tuesday.
What do you think they're getting back?
A 1 and a 3.
A 1 and a 3. I'm still going to hold out to the 2 and 3, with it turning into potentially a first round pick.
Like a conditional.
Conditional.
Okay. I'm good with that. That's fair.
I hate the 28 deal though. I hate the 28th.
Yeah, I mean, do you so you don't agree at all with what I said about that last week, where like to me it's just a collection of assets for Howie. Obviously 27 would be ideal, but I think he will be able to do something with 28. At least it feels like he would.
Do you think, okay, with that being said, then, do you think that there's going to be harder decisions to be made in 28 than 27?
Tough to tell. Really tough to tell. Don't you feel like there's a lot hinging on this year? Like if, for example, if this year goes to plan, let's just say they have a great year. Maybe they don't win it all, but they go to the NFC title game or something like that, and they perform well offensively and defensively. Well, Carter's going to get a contract. Quinyon and Cooper are going to get contracts. Jalen Hurts will get a contract. Sean Mannion might be here, might be hired somewhere else to be a head coach. Nick Sirianni will stay. And then
Vic's not here.
Vic, well, it depends how good they are.
2 years?
I don't know. I think Vic's done, but doesn't Vic – like Vic strikes me as the dude who could just keep wanting to coach. You know, I don't know, but
I think it depends. I think it depends on how well that defense plays this year.
Yeah, me too. I mean, if he's got a great defense and Howie pays Quinyon, Coop, and Carter next summer, I don't know that Vic's going to walk away.
Yeah, but don't you want to walk out number one?
You do. I don't know. I'm not inside the mind of Vic Fangio, so it's tough for me to gauge that. But based on what we know, it's probably fair to assume he's going to retire because he was thinking about it for the last couple of years.
Been in the game 50 years.
What's that?
Been in the game 50 years.
It's crazy, man.
I mean, like 45 years he's been in the game.
Yeah, a hell of a career, hell of a coach too. So, but we'll see. I mean, I just think if all that goes to plan, then 28 could be your bigger year. Like, dude, if they do what I just said, they're not looking to make any splash moves next year. They're going to be broke. Carter, Quinyon, Coop, Hurts. I mean, who else? Who else is going to get paid?
A Jomo?
If they pay Carter, I doubt it.
Okay. Steen?
I doubt it.
Okay.
Malata's a good one.
Malata would be redone. Okay. You think they would entertain redoing Devontae Smith's deal?
Yeah. I actually, Sills, you know what wouldn't surprise me? Howie loves to get ahead of that. And I think as like a public and also a private show of confidence in the player, and also maybe even as a thank you for taking a pay cut, I could see them paying him like a one. If you remember, when AJ Brown got the $32 million deal, I remember I was so surprised.
He had 2 years remaining.
That's what I mean. We were so surprised doing the breaking news because we were like, what the heck?
Didn't somebody got, I think it was Ahmad St. Brown, that got like a $30-something million deal, and AJ was hanging around 25.
Right.
And everyone was like, whoa, AJ can't. And in a matter of a week, there was a new deal on the table.
I think they paid both Devontae and AJ that summer.
They did.
Yeah, right. Devontae, and then a couple weeks later did AJ.
If Devontae gets 1,500 yards this year, I mean, I could see them doing the same thing, restructuring that contract and giving him more money if he turns out to be a true number one, right?
Yeah. I mean, look, maybe they're also like Smitty has to prove it first. But I think, I think they like Smitty, I don't think they put him in the category.
Yeah, but do you like Smitty where he is, or do you like Smitty on what he could do?
That's fair. And look, those are the tough conversations that the front office has to have. I know people act like those conversations don't happen, but the Sileo,
of course they do.
They do. They happen on every player. So, I don't know how they see him. He's been great for them as a number two, and he was solid for them year one as a one. He was obviously it wasn't polished. He was a rookie, but my concern with him right now is the numbers really are not great when AJ hasn't been out there. Now, it's not the biggest sample size in the world, but it does show you, like, when AJ's not on the field and the defenses can shift their coverages and figure out who to take away, first and second, it's changed Smitty's output. So we got to see, but I'm pretty confident in Smitty.
If AJ's not on the lineup and he's not in the huddle, who's he affect more, Barkley or Hurts?
Hurts. For sure, yeah. I mean, when AJ Brown showed up,
but see, if the running game's back, I mean, if it's back to being where anything resembling 24, I mean,
you think that would have to do with AJ?
I'm saying health. If the health of the team and Lemon gives you something in that crew of dudes,
Well,
gives you a little bit. Like, how about this? With that crew of dudes. Now here, would you take the field, the crew of dudes, or AJ in production this coming year?
are you asking me who I would choose for the Eagles or who I think in general will have a better year?
Yeah.
I mean, I would prefer AJ
Okay.
than the crew of dudes. Who I think is going to have a better year? Probably AJ.
Doesn't
But
the
that
crew
doesn't. I don't say that with the thought process that means the Eagles are going to suck or not deliver. It just means that they're a different style of offense. They're not a high volume, high production offense when it comes to statistics and output. That's why AJ doesn't want to be here. So
that's the best room of receivers the Eagles have had since I started covering the team. But
see, there's one area I would disagree.
But it's not the most talented because of AJ and Devontae as a duo. That makes sense.
That makes sense. But this is an area where I think me and you disagree on. And I'd rather have the two dudes at the top than the depth. And I think sometimes, well, I guess it depends who we're talking about, but it seems like more often than not, you're more interested in the depth and the whole position group than having the great talent at the top of a position group.
Because of who the quarterback is. If I've got Mahomes, I don't give a fuck who plays the Y and Z.
Yeah, right.
Okay, if I've got Matthew Stafford, I really don't care who plays out there.
Yeah, but with Jalen, it's like they don't spread the ball as much. So why are you so worried about having a great 3 and 4 if 1 and 2 get the ball?
Then there's no excuse about the offense they're trying to do. Hurts is going to have all of the skills, and you know how you open up your silverware door, and you've got forks, spoons, knives, and you've got cutting knives. None of them are empty. He's got every single utensil for him to use. And if he doesn't use but 2 of them again, at the end of the day, dude, this guy doesn't really know how to spread the football around.
Yeah, well,
use all the essential tools you have.
Well, this is an interesting topic. I mean, as you say that, Mike Fittery is in here. What's up, Mike? Good to see you, brother.
That's right.
Yeah, but because I saw, and Mike's been consistent with this. And Mike, I meant to bring it up earlier, but I'm going to bring it up now. So Mike brought up a good point in the chat a couple of days ago, maybe last week, and it was if AJ leaves, it's going to stop the forcing of the targets to
primary
AJ.
target.
I would ask you and Mike and everybody listening, do you think that problem, the forcing the ball problem or the lack of spreading the ball around problem, is that because of the receivers that were in the room?
Yeah.
Or is that because of the style of the quarterback? And what I mean when I say that is, are you under the impression that without AJ, they're going to start to spread the ball around? Or are you under the impression that without AJ, they're now just going to be forcing the ball to the same 2 targets that are just now lesser targets?
Okay.
Lesser players.
I'll give you examples. Josh Allen loses Stephon Diggs. He wins the MVP because he had to spread the ball around.
Well, that's kind of what I'm asking you. So you think Hurts
will Well, let me give you another one. Kansas City was off of Tyreek Hill. They're winning football games with Juju Smith-Schuster. And then the question comes back to what you said. Well, Sills, that's Mahomes and Allen. Correct. That's been my contention. The guy you have isn't Mahomes and Allen. And it becomes maybe he needs primary, whereas there's a part of me that think Dak needs primary. Because when they lost, what was his name? Yeah. Amari Cooper. Remember when they sent Cooper to Cleveland?
But then he was throwing us some freaking.
Okay, but when he lost Cooper, that offense tailed off. When they got CD, it elevated back up again.
Yeah. Dak was throwing. He was throwing. Is that when he was throwing like Brandon Cooks and shit?
Yeah, there was just nothing there. And it was like a burnout Ezekiel Elliott in the backfield.
Yeah, right.
I think there's some quarterbacks that need to have a primary.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you.
Hurts is one of those guys.
Me too. So my concern now with Mike is instead of it turning into you spread the ball perfectly, amongst everybody, it turns into, well, we forced the ball to AJ and Devontae a lot last year, but at least they're good players. Now we're forcing the ball to Devontae and a rookie.
Yeah, but here's where Manning comes in. Now it's Mannion's responsibility to get that quarterback in a position to get those other receivers the football. Because if Jalen struggles at reading defenses and progression reading, well, what's the next thing? That coach has to put him in a position to be able to see the field.
So are you saying he's going to draw up plays for their 4th and 5th targets?
Yeah, he's got to. Or
because I don't think Hurts is going to get through like progressions. Like,
then why are you drafting?
I'm saying if you have if you have Devontae Smith and Lemon and Goddard on the field, they're going to be your top 3 targets. So in order to get the ball more to Dontavian Wicks, unless Hurts gets through his progressions, his 4th read, which isn't common for any quarterback, by the way, you're going to have to draw plays. And I don't know how many plays, dude, they're going to be drawing up for the 4th, 5th, and 6th target on the team.
Well, dude, you've got 2 1s and 2 2s as targets if AJ even leaves.
I know. I'm just saying.
You're putting all those assets in there, and you're not creating more opportunities in the passing game with all your first 2 draft picks were targets.
Yeah. You think they were targets for this year or targets for the future?
I don't believe that the Philadelphia Eagles went into a meeting and went, you know what? I really think this year may be a fucking bumpy one, and I don't think we're really going to win. We're going to win in 28. This is not the Sixers. The Eagles aren't the Sixers. They don't think like that. There's no process there. I think Howie wants to win every day he steps out of his house and into his office.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I agree.
That doesn't come off like a guy that says, hey, guess what? I'll pay you in 2 years.
Well, no, but remember, that doesn't mean Howie's, prone from tough situations and decisions. Sometimes you get bottlenecked.
And they've created a lot here with
the and they've drafted really well, which in a way, as great as drafting well is, we talked about this recently, the best way to maintain a team when you draft as well as they have is you have to keep drafting well or you're fucked. Because you're going to have to pay them all, and then you're going to be cooked if you don't have great players on rookie contracts.
But what's happened for the Eagles is they've drafted in waves. And what I mean by that is all of a sudden they got these offensive guys in the room. They stopped because they didn't need any more offensive guys. Now they're starting to draft defensive guys. Those offensive guys are getting more banged up and they're older, but they got all the big money. And they got all the salaries. It's affecting players walking out of your building that have a lot of gas in the tank left. You can't let Milton Williams and Josh Sweat and Jacoby and some of these other guys walk out the door and just go, well, fuck it, That's your depth.
Yeah.
And I talked about in 24 walking out the door. Now, it is a rich man's conversation. It's totally, but
it is.
See, you're now – the second team of the Eagles is now a major issue. If you lose any kind
I think you're making a little much of it, dude. I really do.
Who comes in if Carter goes down?
Well, Byron Young, I guess.
Okay.
Sills, I get what you're saying, but dude, like, if Jalen Carter went down in 24, they'd have been fucked too, dude. They would have.
Bro.
Like, when you use an extreme player like that, it almost feels like no matter who they got, they're fucked. So I get your point of, like, you want depth.
Yeah, but when Slade went down, I thought Isaiah Rodgers could have stepped in there and played.
Well, I think we have a solid corner depth this year. We got Jonathan Jones, who's a veteran, who's got a lot of game experience. You
think Jonathan Jones is Isaiah Rodgers?
No, I don't. But I think you have solid depth if you're to lose one of those guys. And then the fact that you have 3 good ones, you can probably move them around a bit.
Wouldn't you agree the depth place you have on defense is linebacker?
Yeah, but even that, you have unproven guys at depth. Unless you feel great about Trotter coming out. I like Trotter, but he hasn't proven all that much.
No, but I like him. Like you have no depth. You think you have depth at safety?
No, there's no depth at safety. Not really, at least. Unless they have a switch coming for Cooper.
Now, get this, though, Z. This is not a problem that's not to every other team in the NFL. I just thought you were special in 24 with the depth on that team. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I'm just my whole pushback wouldn't be that the depth is as good. It would be that if you talk about losing a player to that's the caliber of player that Carter is, and that can go across the whole roster, whether it be Devontae Smith or a corner or Jalen Hurts or and whoever. Like I don't think you're gonna have a good answer, and I don't think they would have in 24
Okay.
either. You
Take
know,
take the quarterback out of conversation. What one player on your football team could you be ill afford to lose this coming season?
always the quarterback, obviously. Saquon Barkley, there's no depth at running back. I mean, unless you really like Tank Bigsby. I like him, but I don't know how he would fare as a
If
number
I
one.
lost Barkley, I'd
Yeah.
run the quarterback more.
Well, me too, but I guess we'd have to go inside the be a fly on the wall to figure out why they haven't done that.
So you think Barkley would if you had to lose if you couldn't lose one player outside the quarterback?
Well, could you make an argument for Smitty?
No,
If you
because
lose Smitty, dude.
I think you got a lot of depth.
I know, but dude, if you lose Sills, if they lose Smitty, they're lining up Hollywood Brown, Dontavian Wicks, and Mekhi Lemon. Dude, that sounds like the Chiefs when they won the Super Bowl with Juju Smith-Schuster,
Yeah, you don't have Mahomes.
and we don't have Mahomes. So I don't know. I get where you're coming from. I'm not even trying to. I'm not shitting on it. I get where you're coming from.
How about
My
Q?
whole thing is I grapple personally with what's more important, especially in a league like the NFL where talent is paramount, superstars are paramount, great players are paramount. I mean, if you optimize over the top for depth, you might sacrifice keeping players who have the type of caliber and upside that some of the guys we have are, and to me, I'd rather have the great players. Like you asked me earlier, would you rather have Devontae and a bunch of dudes or Devontae and AJ?
You and me
I'm picking
differ.
Devontae and AJ.
Okay, this is where you and me differ. You'd rather have the four good players. I'd rather have the great roster. I'd rather have the very good roster.
Well, I think having a great roster doesn't have to be removed from it for me. I just think the four great players make the great roster.
Name me a superstar defensive football player during the 49er run or during the Patriots run that you can remember on defense that was like a mainstay guy for them. They never had the highest player. They never had the highest player at their position at any time in New England.
Well,
anytime those contracts came up, they got rid of them.
I mean, they have. I don't know any players off the top of my head, but I'm just, they did have Bill Belichick, who's one of the greatest defensive coaches of all time.
But they moved the money. But they always.
I struggle with. Like
they always move the money guys.
Is that a good comp though, dude?
Well, because of Brady, right?
Brady, Belichick. I mean, dude, the football's been around for 100 years. There's never been a team like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, to me, that's not the team you try and replicate because it's not. Okay. You know what I mean? It's so out of the ordinary.
Okay, I know.
Like, for example, like, do you think the Cowboys? No, you'd have to tell me. I wasn't alive at the time, but the Cowboys of the '90s.
Okay,
I'm sure they had good depth too, but that was a team built with superstar players, superstar offensive line, superstar running back, superstar receiver, and a damn great quarterback.
Outside of Haley, and 1 year with Deion. Name me another Hall of Fame player on that dynasty run that the Cowboys had. They didn't have one. And both of those picks were not draft picks. They were acquired free agents. Haley and Deion, the majority of those guys were all draft picks and late draft picks. The Russell Marylands was the number 1 overall.
Yeah.
They got Tony Casillas.
You got to get Tony Casillas back on. I love when you have him on.
Hey, I will.
Yeah, I like Tony Casillas.
Okay.
How about Ty Law, Richard Seymour,
Ty Law,
Rodney Harrison, Vince Wilfork, and wait. Drum roll, please.
Those aren't Hall of Famers.
Wait. Do I have a drum roll? Let me find a drum roll. I know I got one.
Those guys ain't Hall of Fame players.
Mike Vrabel.
Yeah, those guys weren't Hall of Fame players, though.
No, I know they weren't. I know.
But you know who brought him in? Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll brought Ty Law in.
Oh, really? To the Patriots?
Yeah, and he brought Teddy Bruschi in. and he brought a lot of those guys in. That's why he
It's
had a
kind
great.
of tough because the Patriots were literally two different dynasties.
Yes.
They had 2001 to 2004 or 5, whatever that was. And then they had what, 2013 to like 18 or 19 or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, I see down here. Yeah, and Seymour was traded to the Raiders when he wanted more money. And Ty Law is in the NFL Hall of Fame? Like, since when? Maybe I'm wrong. Ty Law is a Hall of Fame, NFL Hall of Famer?
So do you go in when you go to the Hall of Fame? Do you go in as for a team? No, right? You go in as a career.
He went in as a Pro Football Hall of Famer, 19. I didn't realize that. Again, that's another Pete Carroll guy. Yep. So say that again.
No, that's good. Yeah, no, you're good. Both of them are Hall of Famers. It's pretty good. But yeah, I still get your point. I mean, it doesn't change your point of they had revolve.
See, to me, I'd rather have Vince is not a Hall of Famer. But I think Vince should be considered a Hall of Fame player. I'd rather have the unit. Like, look at your 2024 team. You had one first-team All-Pro guy on it.
Who was it that year? Bond?
Yeah. And that unit was
Barkley, right? Barkley, but Barkley.
Defense.
Yeah, one on defense.
You had one guy on defense.
Yeah, and he cost $3 million.
Okay, that's it. And I mean, to me, I'd rather have the roster. You won your Super Bowl with the roster, man. You didn't win it with superstar players. I mean, having you had superstar players on offense. But what I'm saying is that you can't have just 5. I'm against doing this, letting 7 guys walk and pay 4.
I get that.
And that's kind of what he's done.
Yeah, I get that.
That's a fine line, isn't it?
It is. 100% is. 100%. And like, what do you have to sacrifice to get that?
Yeah. I think what the Eagles have sacrificed is depth. Do you agree?
Yeah, but I'm saying vice versa. Like, if they build out the roster the way you're saying, like where you have more depth across it, are you willing to sacrifice Jalen Carter for that?
Do you think
the Cowboys sacrifice AJ Brown for more depth at wideout? I'm not.
Okay.
Some people might be.
Do you believe the Cowboys have upgraded their defensive roster moving off of Micah?
Yeah, this is a good point. I do. Now, you don't want to get rid of a player as good as Micah, but it's undisputable to say that defense got better with the assets they got back from Michael Parsons. It did. It just did.
Do you think the Philadelphia Eagles got better when you guys moved off of Carson Wentz?
Took a bit, but yeah.
Okay. Wentz was the second player overall taken, right?
Yeah, second overall player. Yep. Behind Jared Goff.
Yeah. I mean, see, I'm a big believer in building and allocating. You don't have to be spectacular at every position. I think you have to be good and competent in every position. And that's what Vic has done. Vic puts the most competent players in position. You know, one thing I thought about over the weekend, and I brought this up on my Sports Grid show, and you tell me if I'm whacked and I'm over the line with this.
Probably.
I said that I have never in my entire life ever seen a Super Bowl MVP so disrespected in my life, like Jalen Hurts, when you're asking a guy to be Brock Purdy. Am I wrong when I say that?
You're saying that the Eagles you're not talking about commentary disrespect. You're talking about organizational disrespect.
Yeah.
Okay, because I could say that, some would say Big Sills is a perpetrator of that disrespect.
Big Sills is just a sports guy that sits around all day.
Yeah, right.
Taking in the information that
what I was sizing up this weekend? My Louisville Slugger. I'm getting ready to break out on that fucking cowboy helmet at the end of the year. Been sizing that sucker up.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I've been sizing that badass up. But
Didi looks at that helmet and she's like, Dad, you wear that and you're talking Eagle football? These people
Yeah, even Dee knows that's fucking stupid.
She's like, Dad, you're just a professional aggravator.
You really are. All right, let's rip these supers. We got G-Cobb in the green.
All right,
you ready?
man.
We only have one. Actually, only have one of them.
Got it.
Kimberly says, Wade
Kelsey
stunted Hurts his growth. AJ stunted Smith.
On setting protections.
I don't think AJ stunted Smitty at all. I don't agree.
I think the organization,
maybe production-wise, obviously, but I don't think he stunted. I think he helped them.
Yeah.
I mean, by the way, Devontae's a more polished route runner than AJ Brown. I mean, I think they both helped each other, but AJ probably taught, Devontae a lot about the rigors of the NFL and being able to win at the NFL level consistently. I mean, Devontae was a pretty polished receiver coming out, but I don't know. I don't get the feeling that AJ stunted Devontae Smith's growth.
All right. Well, here, I got a question for you before we go to G-Cobb. You think Jalen made AJ and Devontae Smith's job easier or harder?
Jalen made Devontae Smith's job?
No. Did Jalen Hurts make AJ and Devontae Smith's jobs easier in the passing game? Easier or harder?
Well, it depends what year you're talking about. I mean, I don't think so, but I don't know if that was all Jalen. I mean, look, some of the way that they played in 24 was just not a way that was going to accentuate wide receiver talent, Now, some of that is the quarterback, but look, this is where I agree with McMullen, where he's like, dude, if you have this player, embrace the player, or else why do you have him? Jalen's a playmaker. Jalen has never in his career been the guy that just throws the ball over the yard to go and win games. He's going to win with his legs here and there. He's going to escape the pocket. He's going to make plays, when a play breaks down. That's what he's done. I don't know if he'll continue to do that, but that's what he's done. So I don't know that I view it like he made their job harder, but he's a style of quarterback that's not necessarily the, an offense that accentuates receiver talent all the time. I think that's fair to say. So, yeah, to answer your question, sure, he made it harder.
G-Cobb's in the green room here, and we're going to go to him in a second. I want to give you one thing that Dave Wonstadt, who coached Gary as well. I want to give you one thing that Dave told me about Hugh Douglas. You'll find this story interesting. Hugh Douglas, when he got to Philadelphia, I didn't realize he was somewhere else before he got to Philly, but he was. Dude, he cannot play the run. Hugh Douglas couldn't play the run to save his life. He was with the Jets.
Yeah, he was drafted by the Jets.
Okay. So Jim Johnson gets him and says, this guy doesn't want to play the run. All he wants to do is hit his head on quarterbacks. He created a fucking position to the guy's skill set to make that guy an Eagle Hall of Fame player. Why can't the Eagles do the same thing for Hurts? Play to his skill.
Yeah, it seems like they're kind of abandoning that, or at least that's how it's been reported. Now, the new report shows that Mannion and Hurts getting along, everything's going well. Look, I've said to you, it never made sense for me for them to just completely abandon that. If Sean Mannion is a good coach, he's not going to ask Jalen Hurts to not, hey, dude, congratulations making it to 28 years old, being a decorated athlete, a Super Bowl MVP, an all-pro, a national champion, a second-round draft choice, a $51 million man. Congratulations on all your success. I'm going to throw it in the trash can. He's not a good coach if that's what he's saying.
2026. All I know is this.
You better get ready, and you better take a picture of your cowboy helmet up there if you want it to last a while.
Hey, I got my cowboy helmet on the 2026 season. Okay,
I'll burn the 1500 on the round trip flight
just to break the helmet. I come back in. What the fuck happened to my helmet, man? As Xander was here for about 5 minutes, he didn't want.
I'm drinking a famous Big Sills margarita or Corona when I'm there, and then I'm getting on the flight and getting out of there.
Holy cow! I drank a great margarita yesterday. A little spicy. Man.
It'll be a Jacob. How about this? We'll do a Jacob promo. We'll do it for charity. We'll raise money with the broken pieces of the helmet, and we'll give it away. Auction them off, and we'll give it all to charity. How's that?
Got you there. All right, Big Z. We will catch you in the morning, my friend.
All right, brother. I'll catch you, man. Later.
That is Xander Krause. Make sure you catch him on Birds 365. Yes, indeed. All right, so I want Gary Cobb to hook me up because he's always over there at the they don't even call it NovaCare Center. They call it something else over at the Eagle Complex. So veteran players can't talk to coaches. So I want G Cobb to help me out here. So Jalen Hurts and Sean Mannion are doing this. Hey, Sean, text, send. Hey, how's the new offense look? Jalen, looks really good. I want you under center. Send. And here's Jalen. Wow, coach, I'm really looking forward to spreading the office out. Send. And then you get a report that these guys are on the same page, even though they're not on the same field yet. So these guys are like sexting each other. Hey, I really love you. Hey, I really love you. And somehow they're together. I want to know how this works out here. And then you got all the Jalenites and all the people going, hey, man, they're on the same page. And then a month earlier, that same guy, Jeremy Fowler, had a hit piece on Hurts called He's at a Crossroads. This sounds like old Bob Lang to me, baby. Hey, psst, I gave you insight. Blue Horseshoe says, or like Deep Throat in whatchamacallit, when all the president's men. Hey, Nixon's really an asshole. And I want to give you like some insight here. Now I need a fluff piece. Oof, I'm confused. Oh, and by the way, I'm gonna bring G Cobb up here in a sec. What the hell was that in Philadelphia? All them New York fans. That was kind of embarrassing. Our friend, the one and only Gary Cobb, joins us now. G Cobb, I gotta tell you, I saw Knick fans all over Philly, man.
I tell you,
not good.
Philly does not like that, man. I was wanting these guys at least to step up and make a game out of it. You can't get blown out like that in front of everybody and in there in Philly in front of all the fans. In fact, there weren't but so many Philly fans in there because the Knicks fans came and bought a lot of the tickets. I mean, but to get beat like that where the game's over at the half, I mean, come on, man. No fight. That was embarrassing. And then Joel, after the game, he started saying, I thought we had a good year. At least you don't do that on the same day that you get embarrassed by, they really could have lost by 50 points. I mean, that was bad. But anyway,
Can you imagine Jalen after the 49er game going, hey, we had a successful year because I didn't get hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, Gary, I opened the show with that going, how in God's name is the face of the franchise saying we had a good year when you got destroyed like that in 4?
That's loser. That's a loser.
That's a loser mentality,
That's
man.
a loser mentality, man. Come on. That's just, I mean, Joel is so talented and everything, and I know, his body, whatever, is always breaking down and stuff. But how you could come out there and say, just shut up.
Yeah.
In fact, one of his teammates, somebody come out and say, hey, Joel, shut up, man. Somebody at least show that that's not our team. I mean, we're fighters, I mean, but to roll over like that shows you're a team that, lacks heart. Something's missing there.
No doubt.
When you get blown out like that, come on. And the other games, at least they were in games. They put up a fight. But in your house, you got these guys embarrassing you like that.
Gary, I had to look at the emblem on the floor to realize that was an MSG. I mean, I couldn't believe what I was looking at there. All right. So G Cobb, help me out on this here.
But I was with the guys, the Eagles on Saturday because you had the bicycle ride. So I was over there riding the bike with Jalen and all the rest of them over there, and so they're all riding the bikes, So I had the whole team over there, and I got to admit the Eagles fans, because they were out there, man, like 8,000 of people out there, riding bikes and stuff. But they raised a lot of money, millions and millions of dollars for the autism, so it was a good event and everything. But the boys were out there riding the bikes and everything, so I got a chance to see everybody. The guys are in shape, ready to go. So
How about this, Gary? All right, so I think I know how the media works. There was a piece about a month ago on Hurts about Crossroads, and all of a sudden now they're on the same page. I mean, you brought something interesting up before about Jeff Stoutland and the offensive line. So explain to me this: how is Jalen Hurts on the same page with Sean Mannion when he's had 7 coordinators, including Doug Peterson, since he's been in Philadelphia? Based on what? Text messaging? They're not even allowed to be on the field together yet.
That's right.
Or classroom. Why are they trying to go over the top to convince us that everything is copacetic?
Well, I guess it may be somebody over there. They found out who was running their mouth to that reporter, and maybe part of the deal was him, to do the story, and then you come back and do the kiss piece. I don't see it because I'm sure they're communicating. That Jalen is talking to him, and they're communicating. They're talking about the offense, and Jalen, of course, he knows that they are going to have him under center a lot more than he has previously been. But I'm sure that he's talking to him about the things about the offense that he's going to enjoy, which is, some of the reads he's going to have and the way they're going to be able to isolate defensive players and, the success that this offense has had, because this offense has had a lot of success. I mean, you look at the years that these guys have been operating this offense. So I think that that's the things that they've been talking about. And I imagine, he is breaking down, and they're talking about some of the plays and series of plays. He's probably giving them all of that. So right now, Jalen loves what they're doing, and he's probably, with regards to getting on the center and everything, he knows that it's part of what he's got to do. So I know everything is really positive now, but you know what the key is going to be when they get into the season. And if they have a bad game, what happens? If they have a game where the offense does, just looks horrible and the guys are struggling, that's when, you're really going to have the time when we find out really what's going on.
Gary, do you agree? Maybe what we're doing here is this the time you're trying to build trust with one another? Because plays, like you said, you and me drawing up a go route or a slant here on May 11th, it's irrelevant. I've got to build up my trust with you that you're going to call that play in the right situation when it's because like you just said, I don't know what Sean Mannion's going to look like with situational play calling. Gary, isn't it 2 different things on a coordinator? Dude, that guy could draw up the best playbook on the planet, but can he implement it in game?
That's right.
I mean, right. So is it more about right now is about the trust of one another, more so than being on the same page? Or maybe that means the same.
Now, I will say this. I think it's the trust, but it's the detail. The detail of, okay, does this offense operate? Are you giving him I'm sure they've got to do this, which is when they come up to the line of scrimmage, he's got the option to change what they're doing if it's not going to work, and they also can subtly, and, of course, I don't know their offense to that detail, that they have plays that go with each other. So you have 3 plays, let's say, that go together, and they basically call it a certain thing. When you come to the line of scrimmage, Jalen's calling the play. He's calling one of these 3 plays, depending on what they see. So there are offenses I know that are run like that, and Jalen's still learning the offense. And right now, why would he ever, be saying something negative about the offense he's getting ready to have to run? So he knows that. And then some of the offense, I'm sure that he didn't play that exactly, but he's seen versions of this offense, because all the things, come on, he's had 7 all of the people that he had when he was in college, then all the people he's had in the pros. Most of this, he's done something that's kind of been in this area, but they're changing some things. So I'm sure that he's going to, and then Jalen knows that, are you going to say something negative right now, be saying something negative? No, he's not going to do that. So I think that's where they're at. And, you just got to wait, though. When they play that game against a good defense and they struggle, then what happens? Do they all get frustrated? Does Jalen go in there and start screaming and wanting to have everything go back the way it was, which you can't do? So, hopefully they don't get in that position, because if they get there, it could be really dangerous, where they have some bad games early on and they struggle for a while and it seems like they can't get it together. What it's going to mean is, could be Jalen's, his time could be up. I don't think that's going to happen. He's too much of I think Jalen is, he works at the game. He's one of the first guys out there. He's working during the off season. He's not just going through the motions. He's out there working and everything. So that's what's, we're going to see what happens. But I feel confident Jalen's he's going to be able to run this offense.
Gary, okay, so there's 72 days of camp. I mean, we're here, okay?
Yeah.
You help me out and tell the folks here on this one. He's got more homework to do, doesn't he, Hurts? Before it was AJ and Devontae and a dude that was in the 3-hole, Johan Dotson, Quez Watkins, whomever. Now he's got to learn the nuances of Dontavian Wicks, Hollywood Brown, Lemon, Elijah Moore, Stowers, how to use Devontae as a 1. There's way more installation that has to be looked at here. Not every wide receiver runs a 15-yard in.
That's right.
Right? Nobody plays linebacker the same way.
That's right.
Everyone's got their own little nuances.
Correct.
You're really asking a lot of the quarterback, not just to go through a new progression reading and looking at a new offense. You're looking at personnel setting that you got to figure out what their role is. Am I right?
You're definitely right. And that's where, hopefully, the experience that Jalen has had with all the people he's played with the fact that they've had all these changes, that he's able to make the adjustments that he's going to have to make. But you're right in that, you call a certain route a curl route. One guy runs it this way, the other guy runs it another way. And then you have, when they're playing against, really, when you're playing man-to-man against man-to-man or zone, everybody reacts to things differently, And so that's what they got to get used to. And I imagine, they want to establish, guys always said that, if you're a smart receiver, you're working out with your quarterback during the offseason because he's going to get comfortable with you, and also you're on the same page. So I don't know. I know there's a couple of the guys he's working out with, but of course, he's working out with Devontae, which is going to be very important because I'm sure they're going to be moving him around, and they're going to have to be able to make adjustments. And really, that's what's going to be one of the keys is the quarterback and the receivers have got to be on the same page, because you see something, got to react the same way, or at least he knows the way the receiver is going to react. Now, to learn what all of those guys are going to do, and that's not easy. And I can see with the offense, one of the things they're going to have is they throw the ball to a lot of receivers. They like to have a bevy of receivers that they're throwing the ball to because it really puts the defense where they really don't know where they're going. And they want to get all the guys involved. So that's the way this offense is going to be utilized. The receivers are going to be utilized in this offense where I imagine there'll be certain guys that are comfortable running certain routes. Other guys they're going to have in for different routes. And, Jalen's got to get used to all of them. But it's not going to be an easy job with all those receivers. But I know in Green Bay, they had 5 receivers, getting in on it, getting their hands on the ball quite a bit. So it really puts pressure on the defense if you don't know where they're going with the ball. But it also puts pressure on the quarterback. See? So he's got to get to know these guys in a short period of time.
All right, Gary. So you just mentioned something here that I'm going to flip it around the other way. With all of the changes that they're making and all the nuances that they're going to try to change, how concerned are you that the defense will be and take collateral damage if you start and hang out at 31st and you're 31 and 3 and outs again? How much stress can you continue to put on that defense when you're putting him in bad field position? You're going to be constantly, again, having to get 3 and outs yourself. You don't really have the depth. I just went over it with Xander. How much can you continue to sit there and do this? 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. Because by the end of the year, you got into that 49er game and you got taken out by a backup football team.
Yeah.
You got in that game against the Bears, they ran you off the field. I mean, how much is that? Again, if they struggle early, and depending on the way the schedule comes out, you better hope you don't start with the Texans and the Seahawks in the first part, because you put that offense down.
That's right.
Because you got a lot of things you're learning. You tell
That's
me
true.
how concerned would you be about the defense with the lack of depth on that side?
Well, Vic, of course, you could say so many great things about him as a defensive coordinator. But one thing is not necessarily his strength, which is starting out fast. They get better as the season goes along.
Yeah.
It seems like that's the way that all of his defenses are.
Yeah.
And that's understandable because you got new people, and they're getting used to what he's doing, especially the guys in the secondary. See, they're making some changes in the people in the secondary. At the safety position, and those guys are really the quarterbacks back there. They're the ones making sure everybody's where they're supposed to be, the safeties. And so with Reed Blankenship, who was the guy really running the secondary, see, Reed Blankenship is not here anymore. So somebody else has got to step in that position. So you know that the defense is going to probably start out slower. They'll be playing their best ball at the end of the year. So with that, that's what's going to be dangerous. How is the offense? If the offense starts off slow and the defense starts off slow, and you lose a few games, man, it can poison things, to where you're struggling, most of the year. Now, the Eagles have not. They have not. I mean, over quite a period of time, they have not had that happen where, they're struggling so bad that the kind of things go south, But I know that that's the danger because you're putting in a new offense. Now you expect, and you would not be shocked if, of course, they're playing their best ball later as these guys get used to the offense. But the defense, you got new people, and I don't think it's going to be a shock or surprise if they start off slower, because you got so many new people. I mean, you got people on the line. Your best pass rusher is new. Grinnard,
Yep.
He's new.
Rick Woolen at the quarterback too.
That's right. He's new. So you're not shocked if they start out a little slow, but you can't have the whole team starting out slow, because you don't want to lose games. I mean, you want to beat, especially if you got teams that you're supposed to beat, so that's concerning. I mean, that's something to think about, and that's why all the more important is, that they gotta let Jalen utilize his strengths, meaning that he utilizes his legs some. I'm telling you, if you took that away from Jalen, there was a chance that he wouldn't be where he's at right now if you took his legs away. But see, that's rescued him so many times. To where, let's say he's struggling, all of a sudden, he breaks the defense's back with a scramble for 30, 40 yards, or he just buys time and creates a big play because he runs around back there a little bit and he hits somebody open for a 30-yard gain, things like that. I think at times last year, he got away from that too much. Look, don't forget, man, you need to utilize your legs because you can create a big play by just utilizing your legs at times. And He's done that through all of his career. But last year, he got to the point where it's just he didn't want to run. I mean, at all. And I think that's a negative.
Gary, I want to show you something here. See, here's a guy that doesn't understand what we're talking about. The Cowboys were an under 500 football team a year ago. And of course, they were the 30th ranked defense. They're going to have a new defensive play. They're going to have a new defensive playbook. The Eagles won 11 ball games. And in the last 4 years, they won 50 ball games. My question to you is, why in God's name would you move away with a brand new playbook, having won 11 games and 50 over the last 4 years?
Yeah.
Why are you moving away from that? I mean, the Eagles aren't the Cowboys.
Yeah.
The Cowboys have to start over. Why are the Eagles starting over?
Well, they think they can be better. I think that's clearly they think that the league has kind of left them behind. And,
but no good quarterback in the NFL, Gary.
And San Francisco,
but Gary,
what's that?
They're not changing Matthew Stafford's playbook. Like, they're not changing Patrick Mahomes' playbook or Brock Purdy's playbook. Mm-hmm. Why are they changing Jalen Hurts' playbook and play style?
Well, they decided this is what they wanted to do, that they wanted to be doing what the other teams are doing. They wanted to change. They were very frustrated with the offense last year. They didn't think it's, and I'll be more specific, they were frustrated with the passing offense.
Yeah.
With the running game, they thought that the running game was really a matter of the offensive line being hurt. So they wanted to change their passing game. They think they can get better and be more consistent. They didn't like the fact that the offense pass game just was not consistent. And with the noise that, some of the people were making about it, the Eagles got to the point where they said, we are going to change our passing game. And, Sean Manning came in and he sold himself to them. And, I'm sure that he talked about the success that they've had with the Rams, the Green Bay Packers, the San Francisco 49ers. They've had, they haven't had great quarterbacks in all those teams, but they've all moved the ball consistently, moving the ball. And that's what they sold the Eagles, the Eagles management on. And so they decided to make the change, and we'll see what happens. But they got to be better than they were last year. I mean, they, with their passing game and their offense.
AJ Brown, last one here for you, Gary. So AJ Brown, what do you think this offense looks like without him in it?
Well, I think one of the things is he's kind of an anchor, he has a physical part to his game that, they won't have anymore. Where at times, you throw the ball in his area and, he's going to just get physical with the guy on him. And a lot of times he's going to make some plays where you just kind of put the ball up and let him go after it. So I think that is something that's going to be missed because, you look at Devontae Smith. I mean, he's not an imposing guy when you see him physically. Mekhi Lemon, not an imposing guy when you see him physically. So I think that's something that they, that's not going to be there. When they come to the line of scrimmage, you're not going to look at these guys and be in awe because both Devontae and Mekhi, they're small guys,
Do you think they're moving to a finesse offense?
Well, clearly with the passing game, with the receivers, they definitely are much smaller. You go from AJ Brown to Mekhi Lemon. That's size wise. Even though I'll say that we'll see whether he can do this on this level. But on the college level, Mekhi played physical. He would take hits, go inside, catch the ball, take a hit. Now we'll see. Now we'll see if he do that on this level where he goes in there and inside, and we know AJ could do that because he's bigger than anybody that's hitting him. So,
you think they're going to lose a physical presence in the offense with him?
Well, yeah, not there, but I got to see the way they play, because they think they can create those type of options for their receivers, getting them open inside, being able to throw the ball down the middle of the field. They think they can do that by the design of their offense, But we're going to see whether they can do that. Now, like I said, Mekhi Lemon did it on the college level. He caught a lot of balls over the middle in crowds. We'll see if he can do this here. Now, because he's not a big guy, just from meeting him, not big. And I know, seeing Devontae all the time, Devontae's not that big. But we'll see. But, now I will say this. They're going to have their tight ends on the field more and more.
You think 2 tight end set?
Well, I'll tell you this. Eli Sowers, okay, the second-round draft pick.
Yes.
In a lot of ways, he's going to be the replacement for A.J. Brown.
Huh.
They will have 2 tight ends on the field, 2 wide receivers a lot. See? So, really, he'll be almost taking the place of A.J. Brown in a way because he's going to be on the field. They're going to run a lot of 2 tight end stuff. And they're going to have him, work in the middle of the field. So, and you know what? Their size is similar, and he's a good receiver, and they're bringing him in. He's a receiver. He's almost like a receiver, Stowers. So, and I know they want to play a lot of 2 tight end because the Packers did that. They played a lot of 2 tight end, and the 49ers, a lot of 2 tight end sets and everything, and the Rams. All of them have tight ends involved in their passing game, and that's what the Eagles plan on doing. That's why they're bringing Stowers in here. He's like a tight end / wide receiver. He's kind of in the middle, guy 6'3", 235, 240 that can run. And we'll see what they get. But I know the guys, they are excited about. They think they're going to be able to do something in this offense. We'll see. With the stuff with the AJ and Mannion talking and everything, but I think they're going to be. I think they're going to do some good things. I do think.
You think that defense is going to be better or worse than 2025?
I think by the end of the season they're going to be better.
Better.
I think they're going to be better because they got a lot of talent. I mean, they got guys that rush the passer. They've got outstanding. They don't have. Last year they had a weak corner out there, he's not here anymore, but they don't have that kind of lapse. They got
Adoree Jackson.
Adoree Jackson. They have a corner who can play with the best of them. Now, at times you got to make sure he's focused all the time, but as for covering people, he can cover with among the best in the league. So. We will see, but I think the defense is going to be better. They got better talent, and they got pass rushers, and they got guys that can cover. So we will see.
You think Carter's better?
I think, he's up there working out. He knows this is for, the big time contract. He's getting a bump where he's up there in the
15. Yeah, he got the 5th-year option. He's got 28, 29 million.
That's
big
right.
Big bump.
Well, he plays the way he is capable of playing. It could be up in the 40s after that. So I think that's what he wants. And I think he was disappointed in last year, and he's been working out hard and everything. I've seen him up there. So he's been putting in the work, and you got to do that because he does have the talent to be as good as anybody plays at the defensive tackle position. So I expect a big year out of him. And the big fella next to him too, We'll see. Boys are making that money, man.
Wait a minute here. I got a text message to Jalen and Sean Mannion, and hey, I'm all bought in, and I'm like, have you been on the field yet? No, but that's all right. We're gonna do it in a seance. I'm like, hey, people buy anything, stuff. Gary.
The lovey-dovey.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are texting at 11:30. And Jeremy Fowler is writing that these guys are all in on the same page, and they haven't even been on the field together yet. And you got Eagle fans going, look, they're bought in. And I'm like, oh, my God.
You know what we used to say? Guys sending each other greeting cards.
Oh, my God. Hey, Jimmy Johnson would never send Christmas cards. Jimmy thinks Christmas cards are a gimmick. He doesn't believe in any, I sent him a Christmas card years and years ago. He goes, I don't do Christmas cards.
I don't do Christmas cards.
I don't do Christmas cards. I don't. I think he hates Santa too. I don't know. He thinks the whole Christmas thing's a gimmick. Yeah, no Christmas cards on no holidays with that guy, man. He don't believe in anything when it comes to like the Christmas time. G Cobb, I'll catch you soon. Thank you, my friend.
All right, buddy. Have a good one.
You got it, man. Yeah, Jimmy Johnson doesn't believe in Christmas cards. He just doesn't, man. I don't know what it is, but every time he gets Christmas cards, he tells the guy, stop sending me them. It's a waste of time. He doesn't believe in Christmas trees. He doesn't believe in Santa. And I think his wife, Rhonda, I think she's trying to like change him a little bit, but yeah, he don't he doesn't buy that. It's not his he's just not his deal. He thinks that we will not blame the OC this year. You won't? You've blamed him every other year. Yeah, no, Jimmy, I don't know. Jimmy, I don't know what he is. No comment. I have no idea. Hey, Yale, I got one question for you, Yale. And maybe if anybody else knows this. So last year, Hurts threw the ball for 32-24, 25 touchdowns, and 6 picks. Who's this quarterback? He threw for 3,366, 23 TDs, and 8 interceptions. Who's that guy? Does anybody know? Hurts threw the ball a year ago, 3,224 yards, 25 touchdowns, and 6 picks. This mystery quarterback in 25 threw for 3,336 yards, 23 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions. Who's that mystery quarterback? Who's that mystery quarterback? No. 3,366 yards, 23 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Jalen threw for 32-24, 25 and 6. Who is it? Tyler Shuck. No. Who's that quarterback? Anybody? Jacoby Brissett. Just want to keep it real here. Jacoby Brissett threw for 3,366 yards, 23 touchdowns, and 8 picks. And Hurts threw for 3,224, 25 touchdowns, and 6 picks. Jacoby Brissett. Well, here, year before, he threw for 29. Here, so get this in the last 2 years. 3,002. Hold on here. This last 2 years. 3,266. 2,900. Okay. And 18 and 25. 43. So here. Let me show you this. Matthew Stafford. This is why you're changing. Hey, don't get mad because I'm pointing this out. This is why you're changing. So let me say this here. So Matthew Stafford a year ago threw for 4,700 yards. Let me see something here. 46. Matthew Stafford threw for more touchdown passes in 1 year than Hurts is in 2 years. Holy shit. And that's the offense you're going to. So let me add this up because I got to use my Miami math. 4,707. Hold on here. 4,707 minus, what is it? 6,160. So Matthew Stafford threw for 1,400 yards less this year than Jalen has thrown for in 2 years. But he's thrown more touchdown passes. He's thrown 46 TD passes this past season, and Hurts has thrown 43 in 2 years. That's why you're changing. Okay? They're changing because we no longer have the personnel. What do you mean you don't have the personnel? Nor the cap space or the cap space to replace the O-line that allows us to dominate the run game. Okay, that's not bad. So JAKIB had a good take regarding Stowers with his 45-inch vertical in size. He's AJ's replacement. It is starting to make sense. Yeah, but he's across the middle. He's a middle of the field receiver. Hurts doesn't throw across the middle of the field. He's thrown the least amount of attempts in the last 2 years of any quarterback in pro football. So at one time you had like Roseman and Veach working for the Eagles. Crazy great. Come on, guys. You know in your heart of hearts, you wish Jalen could throw the football better. Sills, you know what's crazy about Stafford's stats is that in 2 games against Seattle, he passed for over 800 yards and 6 TDs, but still lost a game. Hey, I'll tell you flat out, throwing the football for those amount of yards, personally, in my opinion, the problem with the Rams, they can't run the ball well enough. They got to run the ball better. For them to be able to be a team that's going to win a Super Bowl, they got to run the ball. What year did the Rams win the Super Bowl? What year was that? The year the Rams won the Super Bowl with Stafford. Matthew Stafford. Okay, what was that, 2002? Or 2020, I mean? 2020. Rams. No, that was the 10-6 year. 21 season was the 21. It was the year after Brady. That's right. It was the year after Brady. It was the 21 season. Here. Stafford threw the ball for 4,800 yards that year and 41 touchdowns. And believe it or not, that's the Cup year. That Cup was insane that they had. And if you look at their rushing, they had 2 dudes over 700 yards rushing. Michelle ran for 848, and Darrell Henderson ran for 700 yards. You had 1,400 yards between 2 guys that ran the ball. They were able to run the football that year for 1,400 yards and a guy throwing the football for nearly 5,000 yards. You're not beating that. It was a great football game. But that was the Brady and Stafford game, yes. Stafford show up and won, ain't done shit since. He just won an MVP award. Ain't done shit since. Michael, he doesn't. Let's see here. Still, Jalen Hurts had 3,200 passing yards, but he didn't add up. Yeah, because the rushing yards, they stopped doing that. He stopped running the fucking football. I mean, what else do you need to know? He's not running the football. This guy's sounding like they're still running the ball. This means zero when it comes to how good a player is. Rams completely choked. They could have had Bain to pair with Verse. They could have had Lemon or Sadiq, but they took the bench quarterback. That, in my opinion, makes no sense. I completely agree, Daz. I don't get that move either. You go and get a quarterback and you draft a player in the first round that's going to have no impact on your football team. Like zero. He may not have an impact for 2 years. And personally, I don't know if that guy ever plays to where he was drafted. 13th player overall? Yeah, I don't see it. I didn't think he was that good at Alabama. Think you have parking at the dam on both breaks. Sure what you're talking about. Yeah, I don't get that move. I completely agree. I don't. They're changing. We no longer have the, you do have, it's the same personnel though. Thank you, brother, for Brissett. By the way, he's right. Brissett had a better season than Hurts in 14 games a year ago. Dude, what the fuck are you talking about? You're comparing Jacoby Brissett. Jacoby didn't take a team to 2 Super Bowls. I said to you last year, Jacoby Brissett had a better season throwing the ball than Hurts. By the way, you're changing your offense. They're not changing the offense in Arizona. Think of that. That's a great take. Thank you, Philadelphia. They're not changing the offense in Arizona for Jacoby Brissett, but they're changing it for Jalen Hurts in Philly. Make that make sense. Make that make sense. Anybody who thinks that offensive coordinators, and by the way, the Cardinals suck. I mean, the Cardinals suck. Watch this. This will be another dumb take. What the fuck is throwing the ball better? You changed yes, get this. You're changing your passing game because he's a Super Bowl MVP and you want him to play like Brock Purdy. You want him to do and play like Brock Purdy now. Why did you leave well enough alone? Exactly. How are they not changing the offense in Arizona? Dude, Kyler Murray had a good year throwing the ball. They're not changing the fucking offense. Why would they change it? Kyler Murray is Jacoby Brissett's the starting quarterback. Yeah, let's change it. To what? Dickerson is 26. He's not Dickerson from 24. Juergens is 26, is likely not Juergens from 24. Steen is not Becton, and Lane is 1 foot into retirement. They're not pushing D lines around. As a matter of fact, here, I'll go down the lane here and I'll show you something from last year with the Eagles. Let's go schedule. And why, again, I got a problem with what you say and what people are saying, that they're going to play better. Okay, get this. You got beat by the Niner front seven in that playoff game. You got beat by the Cowboys in both football games up front. Kansas City beat you up front in that game. Here, let's go here. Let's go here. Hold on. Let's see something. A year ago. Let's go team stats. Okay. Rushing. Let's go team stats. Cowboys. Cowboys. Here we go. Cowboys had 307. Let's see if you out totaled. How many teams you out totaled last year offensively? Cowboys, 307, 302. You lose that. Let's see this one. Kansas City. Kansas City, 294. The Eagles, 216. This has to do with your offense. And you're going to get better, you say, this year. Rams. And this ended up being the crux of the team's issues by the end of the year. 357 to 280. First three games of the year, you're out total, big time. Tampa Bay, surely you out total Tampa. Bucks had 376 to 200 yards of total offense. That's 4 in a row. This is why they're making changes. Denver. You lose that one. 5 straight games. You're out total. Let's go to New York. First, New York. Surely you have to have out-totaled them there. Nope, New York out-totaled you. 6 straight games. 366 to 330 against the shitty Giants. Holy cow, is this terrible. Minnesota, you had to out-total them. You outplayed them big. Even though that game was a 6-point game. Nope, the Vikings out-totaled you. 7 straight games. This is why you're changing. New York second. You had to have out-totaled them. You had to have. Let's see here. New York 2. You had to. Yep, you killed them. It's the first time you out-totaled a team after 8 weeks. Whew. Green Bay. That game was close. You could have out-totaled them in this one. Here's why you're changing. It's a 10-7 game. Green Bay at 261. You had 294. 2 in a row. So far, 2 for 7 out of the gate. Detroit. See what you did here. Detroit, 380 to 272. That's 8 games. Man, 0 offensive output. Let's see what you did in the in Dallas 2. There's no way you out-totaled the Cowboys. Whew. Cowboys put 473 on you. Whew. Wow, What a beating. Let's see here. Chicago. Chicago at 425. 2 of 10 so far. That's why you're changing. Here's exactly why you're changing. Surely the Raiders, you killed them. They stunk so bad. Yeah, you killed them. Raiders had 75 total yards. Unbecoming of an NFL team. Washington. Surely you out-totaled Washington. They weren't that hot. Yep. There's 4. Buffalo. You might have out-totaled them. No way. 331 to 190. Your offense was awful last year. Across the board. It was pathetic. Eagles, Washington 2. 5 games. 5 for 11. Let's see here. And let's look at the playoff game. Lost the playoff game too. So last year, to put it in context, why you're changing, you had 5 games out of 18 ball games you played. 5 out of 18 games. You out-totaled in offense your opponent. That's why you're changing. That's clearly why you're changing. And that's why you're changing the approach. Destroyed. You can't get a job for any of those teams you played for. What are you talking about? I've got 3 jobs, dickhead. I'm not in football. The Cowboys will host the Eagles on Thanksgiving. Is that being leaked out? It's good. Like that. This is getting repetitive. Bro, there was a comment. Well, then guess what? We won't be going to you any longer. On O-line was decent in pass protection. They were number 2, but couldn't move anybody downfield on those inside zones. Unfortunately, I don't think the stretch run scheme helps the O-line injury issue either. No, it doesn't. This offseason just has to be competent and let the D take over, Sills. So your constant comparisons to Stafford is meaningless. You hired a Sean McVay guy. This is what you want to do. Okay? It's not meaningless. Did you not hire a guy for the premise of having a Sean McVay guy in the room? Did you not? You hired a guy just for that. Sills, should this new offense do double slants? Why? The quarterback can't read defenses. Dude, you're going to go from being a simple high school offense to being an offense that's a complex passing offense. Overnight, in 70 days, when you start training camp. That's what you're saying? You're going to go from that and you're going to implement in 70 days, overnight. Okay, Reyes. Okay. How come it didn't happen a year ago? You know what he'll say? Because Petula was bad. But your confidence in Sean Mannion is based on the same stuff you had for Kevin Petullo. Blind faith. We knew it. Petullo. But this guy's smarter. Like, based on what? Holy shit. Ask him what happened when he called Slay a bitch. He can't consistently critique a player without calling him names. You may be disrespectful, and that shit's going to catch up with you. Who are you talking to? So I don't care what we do with the pass game. If we're a top 5 team, if we're a top 5 run team, if we're not a top 5 run team, we will suck on offense. That is correct. You are definitely. Hey, quite frankly, I don't give a shit what you think of me. I personally don't. Yeah, and by the way, Deshae, when you start caring about what people think about you, that means I must respect you in some way. So put that in context. Are you telling us Petula could call plays, bro? You watched nothing last year. I never said that. What makes you think that Sean Mannion can call plays? He's the same guy. You hired the same guy. Sills, Jalen just keeps making his life harder. He doesn't like a lot of motion, which would help read defenses, and he doesn't like being under center, which helps mirror run pass. He just doesn't adapt. And by the way, that's going to be the $24 million question, is if he can. I still ain't buying that it's going to be a full-on West Coast. That's fair. That's fair. Sills, I will take you calling plays over Petullo. AZ, understand this, my friend. I never said Petullo was going to work last year. I never in any way said that. Steven, thank you for being here, man. Okay, Philadelphia, I respect you. I respect Sills. I just don't respect the cherry picking and the stat glazing. Bro, you're missing it. The reason that I'm, as you say, cherry picking is why your football team is acting. They just drafted 2 players in their first 2 picks that were pass catchers. They made a trade for a pass catcher. They hired a West Coast offensive guy. Why don't you talk about what your organization is doing instead of what you're arguing with me about? You're arguing with me on what I'm pointing out. You're doing this. I'm not. You're changing the offense in front of you, and you're not believing it through the coaching and the hirings and the draftings. What's so hard to believe? He says, I'm cherry picking. Well, then the Eagle organization is cherry picking. Dude, you're not following with what your team is doing. And here, Lemon is a weapon that's never stepped on an NFL field in a regular season. How fucking insane is that? That's like saying Jalen Reagor at this time was going to be a weapon. I'm sure Ray has said that too. That's like saying Jalen Reagor is a weapon on May 11th after he was drafted. That's insane. Sills, for the people that want Jalen to get back to running, I don't think he can get the edge anymore. So you would have to run power, which will get him hurt eventually. That's why this was never meant to be a long, sustaining thing, dude. Okay? Bro, you can't cherry pick a guy who never missed the playoffs and outplayed Mahomes. Oh, my God. Bro, do you think that Jalen Hurts is a better football player than Patrick Mahomes? Mahomes missed the playoffs. You think he's a better football player than Patrick Mahomes? After going to 6 straight AFC championship games, going to 5 Super Bowls, you think he's better? Outplayed him. Well, how about this one? Justin Herbert completely outplayed Hurts every time he's been on the field. Every time they've been on the field going, and their team's going back and forth, Herbert's completely outplayed him and made him look stupid in the last game. Is that an indictment on Jalen? No. That matchup thing is dumb. Hurts doesn't play against Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes was going against Vic. I mean, dude. Jimmy Johnson said this about Patrick Mahomes. He's the only guy in the National Football League that's completely untradeable. And Dak owns the Eagles. Look how dumb that sounds. Dak owns the Eagles. Owns them. Jalen Hurts is a better football player in one game in the Super Bowl. That's the only game that really matters. He needs to be better. He needs to be better than Patrick Mahomes. That's right. Because he'll never be consistently considered one of those players. You're right. He had 60 minutes of football. The rest of it is average football. I've seen a lot of quarterbacks, nearly 45 years too. I ain't seen no one like Patrick. Jimmy Johnson said he's the only guy in the league that's untradeable. And that if you had to put trade picks up, it'd be like 5 first-round draft choices for a guy like that. Yeah, Burrow's the best progression reader. We've had numerous coordinators on here who will tell you that Burrow's the best in the pocket of any quarterback in the league. Progression reading, moving around, seeing open guys. He's just in the worst organization in pro football. Yeah. Burrow's special. Way he looks. 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. The way he goes around. Free safety, strong safety, nickel, depending on what the coverage is. Mike, Will, he sees them all. He's just so great at it. Yeah, now that's a fair comment. That's correct. You're wearing your defense out with all those 3 and outs. The Buccaneers were 29th in defense in 19 because of Winston's turnovers and ranked 6th in 20 because Brady moved the sticks. That's another thing to concern yourself with. Folks, if the offense under Mannion doesn't improve the 3 and outs, Vic's defense is going to get ripped apart. It's going to get ripped apart. The same way Chip Kelly destroyed the defense that he had. People forget, okay? They forget. that he started his career with 2 10-win seasons. Well, as that thing started getting more and more involved and progressing, the defense started falling apart. This is why being the number one defense doesn't tell the whole story. No, it doesn't. Like I told you about Cleveland. Cleveland's got the 4th best defense in pro football. Well, get this. It's an organizational failure because they can't build an offense. That's an organizational failure. Sills said on this stream, the Dynasty Patriots had no Hall of Fame defenders. What are you fucking smoking? Sills will say let's see. They had, you missed what I said. They never paid him. They had Richard Seymour and they moved him. They had Revis and moved him. Okay? Ty Law came when Belichick had the job. Or Carroll had it. There were 3 dudes in 20 years. And they never really overlapped. In 20 years, there were 3 dudes. And they moved them all. Except for Ty Law. Everyone else, they moved. 20 years, there were 3 guys. Brady has not played with one Hall of Fame football player on the offensive side outside of Gronkowski that won a Super Bowl. Not one. Not one player has he played with on offense in 19 years that won a Super Bowl. Okay? Super Bowl. Okay? On those Super Bowl teams. Not one. Let's see here. Double check on a wide receiver. Let's see here. That'd be correct. Not one player that won a Super Bowl when he was in New England was a Hall of Fame player when they won Super Bowls. Not one. Not one player. Okay? But Sills, with that, Vic has proven he does as a D coordinator. You don't need a 40-point game, 0, just a balanced that can score 20 points or more. Correct. Brady, the only Hall of Fame guy that he won a Super Bowl with, okay, that was a Hall of Fame player was Gronkowski. That's it. One guy. One dude. In almost 20 years. Antonio Brown. I said New England first and foremost, and Antonio Brown is not a Hall of Famer. Probably should be, though. But we'll see what happens. He's better. He's a better football player, in my opinion, than the Cardinal kid who just went in. Do you imagine the O-line playing better this season? A little better. I don't think a lot better. I don't. I can't count how many times a professional tried to debate a historian and they end up looking not too so professional, not Sills, just another people in general. Listen, all I'm telling you is what Belichick did in New England was remarkable with Brady. They never had Hall of Fame talent. You want to hear this, what's even more incredible? Name me a first-round draft choice that won a Super Bowl as a skilled player when he was in New England. Sony Michel? Right? Sony Michel? I mean, maybe I'm wrong. As a skilled player, Tom Brady, in nearly 20 years, never played with a first rounder that won a Super Bowl as a skilled wide receiver or tight end. I think the only guy that they had up there, I think they got Sony Michel out of Georgia, maybe in the first round. I think maybe he won a Super Bowl late in Brady's career. There's no first round draft choices on that football team. How about Eli Manning? Let's go Eli Manning. Name me one Hall of Famer Eli won offensively with those 2 Super Bowl MVPs. Name me one player on offense that Eli won those 2 Super Bowls with in New York. Name me one. One player. One football player that was a Hall of Fame player. There won't be one player off those 2 giant teams that he led to the Super Bowl that will make the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Not one of them. Eli took that Giants team, 2 of them, and 2 MVPs, and won against Brady and Belichick. I mean, you could say whatever you want. Eli carried that offense. And Eli was 117 and 117. Okay? I mean, Corey Dillon wasn't a first rounder. I forget what college he went to. Dude, I thought Corey Dillon was a heck of a ball player in Cincinnati. I did. I think he's a north of 11,000 yards rushing. Corey Dillon's got some really good numbers. Sills, do you think Barkley will be a liability in this new offense with his terrible hands? Yeah, I do. Oh, he went to Washington, University of Washington. Thank you, Rasputin. Brady was one of those quarterbacks that made the wide receiver and tight end look a lot better. Why do you think DFW? You know why he made him look better? He opened up the passing game with checkdowns and short passing, intermediate passing. Brady used the short passing game to open up the run game and deep throw game. Hurts doesn't have the check down game or the screen game. That's why the 4,000 yards doesn't come to him. And the passing game is down at the bottom. It's not so much his skill set. It's the fact that he doesn't do it. Sills, how do you have a daily show where you do a rundown on every team? We'll love to hear it. Do that tomorrow. I don't mind doing that. We'll talk about some teams in the NFC East. Then we'll go around the NFC. I need a little more time for the whole league. So we'll do the NFC. What do you say? We'll do that tomorrow. It's a good topic. Let me write that down. Breakdown NFC for tomorrow. You can use that on both shows. Thank you, David. I like that. Brady could throw in anticipation on high level. Curtis, one of the great things that Belichick taught him when the quarterback coach died, I saw Brady on Jim Rome's show, or no, it was on Colin Cowherd's show. And he said that Belichick took over the quarterback coaching job. And what he did was he sat in front of Tom Brady and said this to him. He goes, I want you to know every position and their skill and their technique on defense. Every single player that you're going to play against, and I want you to know their skill and their technique. Then I want you to go to the personnel people, and I want you to get their strengths and weaknesses. Then he came back. Once he got that intel, they started playing war games. 3rd and 8. What do you see here? I'm bringing a blitz. This is what you're going to see here on this play. Brady said it was the greatest lessons he ever got in how to prepare for a defense from the greatest defensive mind of all time. Bill Belichick's game plans are in the Hall of Fame. And I'm talking about when he was with the New York Giants, when he only rushed 3 in that second Bills Super Bowl in Tampa. It's in the Hall of Fame. I mean, nobody on the planet was a better defensive coach than Bill Belichick. You know what? And I bring this up all the time. You know what's really wild? There's no coincidence he coached Brady and Lawrence Taylor and got the best out of them. There's just no coincidence. By the way, so Bill Belichick coached Lawrence Taylor, the greatest defensive player in the history of the league. Then he turned around and he coached Tom Brady. One guy was a first-round pick, and one guy was the 199th pick. And he turned them into legendary players. You think there's any coincidence to that? I'm sure you do. Does the AFC have better quarterbacks over the last 20? Oh, yes. I think the NFC had really good rosters, but the quarterbacks are in the AFC. Brady, Mahomes, Manning, Roethlisberger. Go down the list. Now Allen, Burrow, Lamar. Absolutely. That side of the football on the AFC side have had spectacular quarterbacks. When he only rushed 3 against Warner when they played the Rams, it confused Warner and forced him to dink and dunk and kept the Patriots in the game. Got them back in the game. That's exactly right. DFW, that's a great take. It got them back in the game because then they started getting 3 and outs. Absolutely true. He's had some of the greatest defensive game plans of all time. He anticipated the interception against Seattle. They practiced that play. Think about that, DFW. They practiced that play that Friday before Sunday. Belichick told Malcolm Butler, be on the lookout. They like to throw that middle screen in the middle of the field down in the red zone. And Malcolm Butler was looking for that play. Bucks aren't moving off of Baker. That's not happening. Jason Light has already come out and said that Baker's not going anywhere. The question is going to be the money and the length. Is it 4 years or is it going to be 3 years? I think Baker wants 4. If it's 4, I think it's going to hang around 54. If it's 3, it might be 60. But I don't think, okay? So here, see this one here? So he brings up Spygate. So let me show you something about Spygate. When was Spygate? When was Spygate? 2007. Let's take a look at that. 2007. Okay. Okay. 2007. So let's see what happened after 2007. Patriots, let's see here. Patriots would win 1, 2, 3, and go to 4 Super Bowls. They would win 3 Super Bowls after Spygate and go to 4. Huh. I guess it must not have really mattered. Let's take a look at Deflategate. They went to 4 Super Bowls and won 3 after Deflategate. After Spygate. Deflategate. Oh, yeah, I forgot. I'll never forget. PSIs in the football. Deflategate. What year was that? 2015. Let's take a look at that. So how many Super Bowls did they win after 2015 with the so-called Deflategate? 1, 2, and went to 3. Whew, man, what an impact. Massive. Woof. Got to get those Deflategate and Spygates. Even though after they still won 3 Super Bowls. Hard to keep up with that one. There is definitely true. Sills, it's nice to see some of the defensive coordinators put their ego aside and coach defense at big colleges, which it seems to turn out some really great college players like Patricia and Martindale. Yeah, I do like that. Matt Patricia had a shitload of good. He got Caleb from Alabama, Reese, and Sonny Styles. I think he's going to be a really good football player. Absolutely true. Absolutely. The historians say too many people caught up in garbage passing who threw the ball way too many times for being down points to guys that didn't need to throw the ball because they're winning. Guy, you get paid on your accomplishments. You don't get paid on wins. You think NFL players, you get paid on your accomplishments, not team wins. You don't have inside your contract any of that stuff. You have internal incentives, pass catching, sacks, pass yards, all of this. Okay? Trade Embiid, he's untradeable. That guy's completely untradeable. Who would take the money on? And that's stiff. And I'm so glad Gary Cobb said the same thing I said about Embiid. You get up there in a press conference after you got swept by the Knicks in your own barn and say you had a successful season. He is everything that's wrong with the NBA today. In so many ways, he's everything wrong with today's mentality of players. That's a loser mentality. Can you imagine Jalen Hurts after they got beat by the Niners going, we had a successful season? You imagine that? What a loser. Put your kid up there in front of you, too, like a shield. I'd have ripped him a new one, but they don't do that in Philly anymore. You can't trade that contract. No. It's dead man walking. Okay? Dude, it's dead man walking. If Jalen gets a new contract, do you think it'll be friendly? Do you think Nicole Lynn is going to ask for a team-friendly contract? Why? No NFL quarterback in the NFL today asked for a team-friendly deal. Name me one player that's asked for a team-friendly contract? Name me one. Nobody does that, especially Clutch Sports. You think Clutch Sports is going to go like this? Hey, man. Hey, let's get a team-friendly. Hurts isn't getting another deal in Philly. I agree. Only extension we'll get is if he wants his dreadlocks back. He's not getting a contract extension, or they would have given him one. Get this. You guys tell me how much winning he has. Well, hasn't he deserved a contract extension? Sills, she got Jalen a team-friendly deal for Jalen. When Jalen Hurts signed that contract, it was the richest contract in the NFL at the time. What team-friendly were you talking about? I don't remember that. It was at one time for like a week. He was the highest paid player in the league. You get team-friendly. How do you call it team-friendly with a no trade? David, do you think having a no trade is team-friendly? That's not team-friendly. He's got complete autonomy in what happens to his contract. No one has been emotionally involved with the Sixers as they – well, here, I said this about your Sixers. Don't blame the Philadelphia sports fans for the Knicks fans showing up at that arena. You blame Josh Harris for putting that product in those losers on the floor. That's not Philly, because the Philly I see, when the Eagles show up, whether it's SoFi, Raymond James in Tampa, anywhere, they dominate the stands. Shit, I see that when the Phillies show up to places. They don't let other fan bases blow them up. Only the Sixers. And to some extent, the Flyers. That's the only thing I've ever seen where Philadelphia, it's more of an indictment on the organization, not the fans. The fans basically telling Josh Harris, you're the embarrassment, dude. You put that on the floor, I'm not going in that building and sitting there watching that shit. That's your problem. Until you fix it, I'll support it. After that, I'm not supporting it. I don't blame you one bit. Why should you sit there for that bullshit? Players quitting. You got a $60 million flopper and a guy who doesn't give a shit and a guy who says he had a successful season. When's the last? Let me take a look at something too with Joel Embiid on how many games has he ever played? Like, no, when's the last time he's played north of 60 games? When's the last time that dude's played north of 60 games? Let's see. Okay, games. So 38, 19, 39. In 2022, 66. How many times in his 10 years has he played north of 60? 1, 2, 3, 4. 63, 64, and 18 and 19, 68, 21, 22, and 66 and 22. In the last 3 years, he hasn't played north of 40 ball games. And in the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games, 7 years, he has played north of 60 games twice. And he makes $60 million. This guy don't even play fucking 80 games. How in God's name do you build a championship team around a guy who misses more games than he's played in? That is an unbelievable stat. I mean, think about that. This guy was supposed to play in 820 games. If you played all 80, he's played in 490 of them. He's missed half his career. Half his career. You imagine showing up half the work, half the week? All right, got to pay some bills. Our good friends at Morgan & Morgan, the #1 injury law firm in all of America for a reason. It's because they win. With over $30 billion recovered, there is nobody like Morgan & Morgan. I told you about the family here in Pennsylvania that was initially offered $650K. They got nearly $30 million in settlement. Or the family in Florida that was initially offered $350,000. They got nearly $12 million in settlement. Folks, easiest decision you'll ever make. Go to forthepeople.com/Big Sills or pound law 529. That's forthepeople.com/Big Sills or pound law 529 and do me a favor.
Yeah! There's a reason the Karate Master was the #1 salesman in the lumber department.
Karate.
Just like there's a reason Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm. Injured? With over $25 billion recovered for our clients, there's a reason to go big. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Welcome to the Jet Setters and the High Rollers, to the Shot Takers and the Tastemakers. Welcome to the Viewfinders, the Thrill Seekers, and the Night Owls. Welcome to everything you could possibly want on one 5-mile island. Welcome to the Wildwoods. Book your stay today.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We go the extra mile to lend a helping hand. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong. We've been deeply rooted in our communities for more than 85 years. And that connection to members has earned us our spot as the #1 health insurer in the region. So while you look out for your neighbors, know IBX is always looking out for you.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Thank you guys very much. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow, 2 to 6. Please hit the like button, and we'll catch you on the flip side.